lasting peace with Russia, who invaded his country 3 years ago. Zelensky went on to say that Ukraine values what the U.S. has done to help the country maintain its independence and that they're hoping for, quote, constructive future cooperation.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Zelensky reacting hours after the suspension of U.S. military aid to Ukraine, which remains suspended for now. On Capitol Hill, Vice President Vance telling reporters,
"We do believe that the Russians economically are struggling because of this conflict. We do believe that it's in Russia's best interest, but also Ukraine and the United States' best interest to bring this conflict to a close. So we believe in applying pressure to everybody to stop the killing, because that's what the president's policy is, and that's what's in the best interest of the American people."
President Trump will address a joint session of Congress tonight.
We are told that tonight's speech will be broken down into 4 main sections: the president's accomplishments in his second term so far, the administration's actions on the economy, the need for more border security funding, and the president's plans for peace around the world.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. Tune into live coverage of the president's speech tonight beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to foxnewsradio.com and get Fox coverage on your radio station as well. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau reacting angrily to the tariffs imposed today by President Trump.
He is rapidly going to find out, as American families are going to find out, that's going to hurt people on both sides of the border.
Canada imposing matching 25% tariffs on some American imports. The president threatening to hike U.S. tariffs even further. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Strong gusty winds as we go through our Tuesday afternoon. Some of the wind gusts could be over 40 miles per hour, and there will be another rather fast round of showers and a couple of thunderstorms. 62 for the high. Tonight, showers, windy, and 42. Wednesday, morning showers, windy and colder. 45, that's it for the high, but it feels colder. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some snow flurries around on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need, while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
If you're a homeowner, it's time to upgrade your windows with Window World. Mark Cox here. I am a satisfied customer. I love the windows they put in my house, and there's a reason they're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in this country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They have that lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And in over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 76,000 customers in the greater St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing, with approved credit. And I think the customer service sets them apart from the rest of their competition. And they have an excellent track record with the Better Business Bureau. They've also raised a lot of money, over $3 million for local and national charities. So be sure and check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. You can also go to windowworld.com.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, happy Tuesday. It is Joint Address to Congress Day. Donald Trump is going to give his speech tonight. It's going to look like a State of the Union nerd technicality. It's actually a joint address to Congress. I say that so Ryan Wiggins understands.
You can call it a State of the Union all you want. I was just going to point out your flaws.
Yeah.
Every time you did it.
But
now you've addressed it ahead of time, and I don't know what to do.
It's the first thing right out of the gate.
I had a whole bunch of comedy based on whatever you were going to do with the State of the Union. And now that's all shot.
Why don't you get on the Reardon Show and use it on him today?
Okay. Mark, are you listening?
Mm-hmm. The YouTube live chat poll for today is grade the State of the Union. Now, the reason why I lead off with saying tonight's a joint address to Congress is because it's not technically a State of the Union, but like I said, really, the only thing that's different is the name, right?
Yeah, there's no difference.
He gets invited to come speak to the joint Congress. He's going to deliver what he believes to be the State of the Union and what he's doing with it. The reason why it's not called a State of the Union is because traditionally, in your first year of your term, you haven't really had enough time to make an impact. Although we're 6 weeks in, and I'm feeling a little impact. So I imagine he's going to have a lot to say.
Yeah, I actually really like the State of the Unions, regardless of who's in power, because it is the one time you see everybody in Washington together. A lot of times you see the judges there, the Supreme Court. You see everybody. And, yeah, they make it a little bit of a show, but ultimately it's a chance to see what the priorities of the administration are, because that's what they'll talk about.
So the reason why I wanted to ask this question today in the YouTube live chat poll, grade the State of the Union, I'm really asking you to grade the state of the country right now. The United States is in a significant period of transition. Of course, we've said this multiple times as well. Like, remember Joe Biden? Remember what it was like under Joe Biden? He would go, I feel like maybe not weeks at a time, but it could have been weeks at a time. And we didn't see from him. It was big news when we would see or hear from him because it was so few and far between. And when they would prop him up and trot him out, there was never really anything said. He was only ever really making remarks on something that had been done and been announced via documentation or, some sort of press release. Joe Biden was not the guy who was leading the charge. And then you move into the Trump administration and he is, if you were working in this administration right now, you would just have to constantly have your eyes wide open, like ready to bob and weave through this whole thing because he's constantly in motion. So, when I think about what the State of the Union is right now, when I think about the United States of America, where we are at this moment in time on Tuesday, March 4th, 2025, I don't know that I throw out an A on this right away because there's still a lot of work to be done.
We know that today is Tariff Day for Fat Tuesday Tariff Day for Canada and Mexico. Justin Trudeau has made some statements today, and I'm going to first play here a clip from Secretary Howard Lutnick. Was it Lutnick or Besant who was behind yesterday during the Taiwan chips?
Lutnick.
Yeah.
So we watched that unfold. Do you guys remember how, I mean, Lutnick is like joyful. Do you know what I'm saying?
He's my favorite member of the cabinet.
Lutnick?
Yeah.
Don't tell Burgum.
I'm not going to tell Burgum. I'm still a Burgumite.
What are the Burgumites going to do?
I'm not telling them.
I thought you were their president.
Yeah, but we also got the Lutnickies now. And and we're a passionate group, and we're joyful. And we are following the dictates
what
what
is wrong
the
with
Commerce
you?
Secretary.
How did you come?
This is the Burgumites versus the Lutnickies.
I don't think that there's a conflict between these two men. It's a conflict with Ryan. I think those people are fine.
No, yeah, the conflict is in my heart.
Yes.
Yeah. Within Ryan, there are two wolves.
It's the one you feed.
Oh, my goodness. He's standing over the shoulder of Donald Trump. They're announcing this $100 billion investment, Taiwanese chip making. A lot of it's going to take place in Arizona. It's in reaction to tariffs. That's the key point, at least that the administration wants you to take away from this. We put tariffs on. They said, we don't want to pay your tariffs. We will build in America. Now, that's bringing jobs to America. That's bringing commerce to America. And you would think that having those chips made in America, not having to have them shipped to America, would potentially bring the price of those chips down as well. I guess the price of those chips doesn't go down immediately because we're still using chips that we had to import, correct?
Yes.
Here, and we're moving on. Here's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick.
Yay.
Yeah. Talking about the tariffs, and we're going to get to the Trudeau comments.
Remember,
in a
the
second.
process in America for tariffs is that the president launched a study, and those are the rules of tariffs in America, and that study is finished on April 2nd. So on April 2nd, the president will have all the tools in his arsenal that he wants to do to reset tariffs. So he will be addressing all of those products in Canada, the fact that Canada has a national sales tax. Another way to say it is a national tariff on our products. And we sell, they import from us very little, and we export, and they export to us huge amounts. So the idea is that's going to be reset, but that starts April 2nd. Now we just, people say, oh, it's only a small amount of opioids. They're only killing 75,000 Americans. You shouldn't worry about that. I mean, the president is not going to take that laying down. Okay? He's not. These things just have to end. And we need to see material reduction in autopsy deaths from opioid. And that's what the president is talking about. This is not a trade war. We are going to reset trade policy on April 2nd. You've got China's got huge tariffs on us, huge tariffs on everything with us. And Canada, you just talked about. Why do we produce cars in Canada? They've had an invitation, Canada and Mexico had an invitation to trade with the amazing economy of the United States of America, and they have abused that invitation, and the president's going to reset that, but that's April 2nd. That's not today. Today's opioids, April 2nd, I'll be here talking to you about how trade policy is going to change, and we're going to make it fair to Americans. I know people worry about short term, but we are going to bring jobs. You are never going to see the amount of production come out to America that Donald Trump is going to bring back to America. Trillions and trillions of dollars of production is going to come back to America, creating great jobs in America. And that's why the Americans elected Donald Trump, and he's going to deliver for them.
Now when I think about Howard Lutnick and why he has so many fans, so many just passionate fans, he's talking long term here. And what I notice about what the Trump administration and through Howard Lutnick, what they're willing to do something that might be difficult in the short term for the long term gains. And he's talking here about bringing trillions of commerce to the shores of the United States. I don't know that you can fix the long term debt problem without increasing this. And I also think that when I'm reminding you all of the time to watch how all the Democrats do is react in the political world. They don't care about policy at all. They're not even selling you policy. They're only telling you what they think is absolutely stupid about what the Republicans are doing, because all they care about is politics. And it's super shallow, and it's gotten them exactly to the point where they are right now. But it's a major risk for the Trump administration to invest in the long term, knowing there are going to be some short-term pains. Howard Lutnick right now is saying he knows that in the short term it's going to be difficult. They're acknowledging that.
And here's why I'm a Lutnicky. That's a fan of Lutnick if you're just tuning in.
You better Google these words before you start saying them.
Somebody's going to be like, what are they saying?
Yeah, we heard yesterday
oh
that
my gosh.
parabens is what for congratulations?
Portuguese for congratulations. I don't think Lutnicky is anything other than just fan of Lutnick, but we'll see. No, I like this guy because he's thinking outside the box. A lot of the stuff that he's proposing, these are the kind of advisors that Trump brings on, because Trump isn't going to have every idea. Every idea that's coming from Donald Trump isn't actually coming from the mind of Donald Trump. He's surrounding himself with advisors like this, like with the gold card thing.
That's
green
called wisdom.
Card. Yes. He's done this in business. This is how you do business. You can't do everything by yourself. You have to outsource everything, including creativity. And so he's got these people around him proposing these ideas. And the tariff thing, I think that really is originating from Donald Trump, but Lutnick is taking it and running with it. And he says two things in that clip. One is that short term, we're using this to stop the flow of opioids and fentanyl. Okay. Long term, though, if you're Canada, you're Mexico, you're hearing, oh, it's not just a short-term thing. This is a long-term thing. They're changing the way America does business. And we're all going to be a part of seeing whether this works or not. I have high hopes for the fact that all these businesses, even now, are talking about moving their operations inside the borders of the United States when they weren't before. That's the goal of the whole thing.
What do you call the Trudeau fan group you're in?
Non-existent?
Oh, are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. So you are discerning.
I think so.
He's not really a big fan of the tariff situation.
So today, the United States launched a trade war against Canada. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite. But we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the U.S. tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time.
He lost me when he said 30.
It did sound like he went into a little like Katharine Hepburn there.
Are you sure you're not a member of the fan group?
You know what, though?
No.
He is saying exactly what he should be saying.
You think?
I do. I think he's saying, and Canada is doing exactly what they should be doing. You remember before, this was during Donald Trump's first term, where he said, look, I'm America first. You all should be your countries first. That's what Trudeau, that's what Canada's doing right now. The problem is they're going to lose still.
Well, you know, when Zelensky, when he goes and he's Ukraine first, at least that's the proposition, he's a hero. When you see Trudeau doing that, putting Canada first, he's I don't even know if anyone's calling him a hero, but I think he thinks he is.
Oh yeah, he has thought he was for a long time.
For some reason, there's some great entitlement that exists when America decides to prioritize their own good. And I remind you, are we a wealthy country? Yes and no. Because we have $36.5 trillion of debt right now. The money that we generously ship out to other places for other people's causes, we don't have. And if we had it, if we got our house in order, we would be able to bless other people even more. That's the way it works in your own personal finances. It's no different on the national stage and on the world stage. I'm going to put up here real quick. You can go ahead and read this. Donald Trump response to Trudeau, and then we're going to go back to Trudeau's little challenge here because we just heard, right? Trudeau just said that they will be adding a 25% tariff.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, all right, you want to rumble? Let's rumble.
Yeah, we're not polite. We don't back down from a fight. Or we are polite, but we don't back down from a fight.
I think it's funny that being polite is the second asset that he listed of Canada. Like in a fight, I want you to know two things about us. I don't remember the first one, but we are polite people. It's like the further north you go, the more polite they get. They're still thinking the same thoughts we are. They're just nicer about how they say them.
Yeah.
Did you see that, real quick here, did you see the video? Scott Pressler was in New Jersey, and he asked the New Jersey voters, what's the Jersey version of bless your heart?
No, I didn't see this.
They said it's go F yourself.
In place of
In
bless
place of
you?
bless your heart. Yeah.
I think I'll take bless you.
I mean, Jersey is obviously not Canada because that would not be polite.
That maybe they're saying, when we say that, we have an affinity for you.
Yeah, it's good that the translation is in. Donald Trump's Truth Social post in response to Justin Trudeau there.
He says, please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the U.S., our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount.
So he's like basically saying now it's our move because you're going to do this. Now we're going to do it back to you. It's to me, it's like Dr. Evil going from $1 million to $1 billion
to $100 billion.
Yeah, just over and over and over again. They can go back and forth. At the end of the day, my real question here is, what is the outcome that America is seeking? Because if there are no tariffs, if there are no taxes on imported goods, that's the better deal for. I feel like the tariff is always the means to an end. The tariff isn't the end, unless there is a country that is in a trade imbalance with us and they want to continue that. Then the tariff is the end because that's what the other country has chosen. So Donald Trump, obviously a bit under the skin of Justin Trudeau. I think that there is an understanding across countries that want to challenge Donald Trump that they feel like Donald Trump cannot handle disrespect. I'm going to play for you this clip here right now, and I want to talk about this on the other side of the break. Listen in here.
Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth in both of our countries. We've done big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the U.S. have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see.
Did he just call Donald dumb?
He said first, though, everybody knows you're a smart guy, but this is dumb.
Here's what I want to remind Americans when they hear that and they go, "Oh, Trudeau called him Donald." Donald Trump has only called Trudeau governor for like the last 2 months. So, I mean, now, does that get under Trump's skin? Is he like, how dare he? Maybe. Maybe. But I can't sit here and be like, I cannot get worked up about Justin Trudeau calling him Donald by his first name when pretty much whatever it is that Donald Trump is addressing, any issue that he's addressing, he's like, oh, and by the way, tell the governor I said hello. Justin Trudeau is kind of like, okay, let's rumble. I think he wants a fight, and I think he's going to lose that fight big. He's also going to be gone in like a month. Donald Trump's tweet or post on True Social was literally, please explain to Governor Trudeau. So I think the governor thing, I think watching Justin Trudeau just fade to insignificance from Canadians, not from us. His own people are sick of his crap. Watching him fade to black, so to speak, from blackface. Just Google it. It's not me. He did it, not me. Watching him just kind of dissipate. Donald Trump is putting the exclamation point instead of the ellipsis on the end of Justin Trudeau's leadership or reign or whatever it is in Canada. And the governor thing, I think, really bothers Trudeau because it's really undermining everything that he is. Is he the prime minister?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. Do I think it was disrespectful for him to say, I want to talk to one American? Donald? Yes. But Donald Trump has been disrespecting Trudeau, and that's the way he rolls. So I think that's turnabout is fair play to me.
I don't think either one of these guys care about the formalities as much as the outcomes. And right now, not to borrow the phrase from Donald Trump, but he has all the cards. He is the president of the biggest economy in the world, and he is going around telling everybody, he's reminding everybody of that fact.
I don't think you're right about Trudeau not caring about formalities. I actually think that's all he cares about. I think all he cares about is the pomp and circumstance and his position and the title and the power. I don't think he cares about the outcome. I think that's why he's in trouble. But anyway, let's talk more about it when we come back.
That's actually a really good point.
Thank you.
I mean, because if he cared more, things would be different than they are.
That's what I think. Yeah, but you're exactly right about Donald Trump. Let's take a quick break. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Grade the state of our union. How is the country at this point in time? A, B/C, D, or F? YouTube.com/@AnnieFry. You can also stream us live in the Odyssey app. We'll be right back.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Wild thing, I think you move me. But I wanna know for sure.
AirComfortService.com is the website. I appreciate everything about Air Comfort Service. As a customer myself of them, you can reach them 314-513-0091 and talk to them about your HVAC needs. One of the things that I appreciate about them is they're always thinking forward about you. You might not need an HVAC system right now, but by the time you get that air conditioner cranking, which is right around the corner, thank God, you might need to make that phone call. Here's what they've done. Regulations on the HVAC industry have caused the coolant or the refrigerant that's going in to make your systems cooler. It's jacked up the price like 20%, and it's going to obviously get passed on to the consumer throughout the HVAC industry. Air Comfort Service went ahead and bought a bunch of the 2024 models that they could put into your home that's going to save you that price increase. And you got to get in there and get the conversation started now so you can access that. When you reach out to Air Comfort Service, they're going to walk you through what they can do. They're always going to give you the opportunity as well to have options to repair, to replace, whatever it might be. That's what they did when we had to do our replacement. We made a choice and we replaced it, of course. But they'll be good with you. They'll be honest with you, and I think that's what counts. 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Tell them Annie sent you. Hit them up online at aircomfortservice.com.
At the Williams residence, everything looked kind of the same from the outside. But inside, their lives just got way happier. 3 years of inflation and debt had crushed them. But for the first time, they had the cash to secure their retirement, pay off bills, and plan their future. They didn't win the lottery exactly. They did a genius financial strategy called the Sell and Stay program from Truehold. It's easy. Their home's value had rebounded greatly, so they quickly sold it to Truehold and banked all that equity in cash. But since they weren't ready to move, they could stay put with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold even paid their property taxes, home insurance, and essential home repairs. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a Truehold offer now while your home's value is high. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zerorez, and I want you to beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zerorez. If you missed out on earlier specials, this is the time to get your home freshly cleaned, the carpets, the floors, maybe even the upholstery. Zerorez removes winter's lingering grime, preparing your home for hopefully brighter days ahead. And spring, let's face it, is a time for renewal. So let Zerorez help you refresh your home with clean carpets, fresh floors, and improved air quality. For that, you want to do the ductwork. And here's the offer for the month of March. 3-room Zerorez-ified from St. Louis's #1 carpet cleaner, starting at $119. Also, take $75 off your air duct cleaning package. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy air. So book right now at 314-474-2020 or go to ZerorezSTL.com and say you want the 97.1 FM Talk special. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zerorez. Book today at ZerorezSTL.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Brian Kilmeade here, and I'll be there on Saturday, March 22nd. Jot that down at the factory in Chesterfield in this engaging motivational journey through America's past. Tickets available at 971talk.com/events.
Sponsored by Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. YouTube live chat poll for today. Grade the State of the Union. A, B/C, D, or F. Some comments that have come in so far from listeners on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Gary says B/C on the current State of the Union, only because Trump hasn't had enough time to repair all of Biden's failures. Ron says it was an F. Now it's a C. If they truly release Epstein files, they move up to a B. So last night we hear that there's some movement on the Epstein files, and I have to say, was last week, everyone thinks it's a disaster, the way that they said that they were going to release the files but didn't release the files. I kind of think that we're going to see a lot of these things where it's, here's what's going to happen, and then we find out, oh, wait, there's something tucked away and being protected. And I don't really know. I'm thinking Pam Bondi, when you're on Jesse Waters and you're making the announcement, she literally says, I'm going to break some news right now. We're going to release these files tomorrow. And then tomorrow would have been last Thursday. Is there work she could have done to know that the files she had and was going to release weren't the sum total? I mean, if she looked through everything and as what I've gleaned from people who reported on it, there was really no new information. We had names from a January court trial based on one of the victims, and the names that were included there didn't indicate that they were actually guilty of anything. We find out that there is a whole lot more for Americans to consume because the FBI in New York has been hiding thousands of files. So I think initially I hear that and I think, gosh, they really botched that. That was my, like, what are you doing? Get it together. And then Pam Bondi's smacking Kash Patel around. I don't know if she's doing that or if she's just trying to get Kash Patel's name out there because Kash Patel is going to get everything right with the FBI. And it's a messy process, but transparency. But before I play this video of Pam Bondi talking about what is going to happen now because they've acquired some of these files, did you feel like that was a total face plant? Or do you think we're just seeing how the sausage is made?
Yeah, I thought, well, it's both because I do think she should have known that what she had wasn't going to be the bombshell that she was teasing. But then at the same time, I don't know how does she know that the FBI office in New York has all that stuff until a whistleblower hears that and contacts her about it?
Yeah.
Which is what the report was. So, it's kind of both.
You guys both said last week that you don't think that we're going to ever get the real the story.
I can't imagine if you've been hiding it for this long that now they'd go, oh, here you go. I mean, they've gone to great lengths to get rid of this information. Whoever is in control of the country.
Well, but you're implying that 100% of the people who have knowledge of at least more of the story, if not the full story, that 100% of the people who have access to that are all in it together. And I just don't ever think that's the case.
Well, all it would take is one or two people at the top to dictate to everybody else. And now those people are gone in Washington.
That's not if you have a whistleblower.
But there's somebody above the whistleblower who's been dictating this is how things are going to go. The whistleblower is just not agreeing to do it. The rest of them are.
And it just takes one whistleblower to blow the whole thing up, which is why I think there's somebody out there who's going to, yes, very much so, to do the right thing, but also because being the person who blows this whole thing up, I think there is something personally to be gained from that.
I just hope the whistleblower has access to everything and hasn't been limited by whoever's above them.
I think, if anything, we're getting more.
We're definitely getting more.
And as soon as we get more, we might be able to see further the gaps that need to be filled in. And then do we ever fill those in or not?
That's the hope.
We won't know until we get there. But I do think this. Well, let's just play for you Pam Bondi last night on
We
Fox.
all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept. Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Kash is also, now that we have Kash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Kash is going to, Director Patel, is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay, I want to be clear because I think people got frustrated because they were expecting more. You were expecting more, and you didn't find out less than 24 hours before the release. You got a whistleblower that confirmed that there were way more documents that they were supposed to turn over, and then you found out just before that.
Well, sure. And you're looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. There were flight logs, there were names and victims' names. And we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? And that's what the FBI had turned over to us. And so a source said, whoa, all this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York. Yep. So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Kash is going to get me and himself, really, a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld. And, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein, because there are a lot of victims.
Well, you had identified in phase one over 254.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, is that the only thing that would be redacted? will everything else be made public that you get in your possession?
Yeah, the FBI hasn't had, obviously, they haven't looked at the thousands of pages of documents that they've just received Friday.
Yeah.
But Cash has a team going through them, and it's always about protecting the victim. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know. The Biden administration sat on these documents. No one did anything with them. And why were they sitting in the Southern District of New York? I want a full report on that. You know, sadly, these people don't believe in transparency, but I think more, unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't believe in honesty. And it's a new day, it's a new administration, and everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
And that goes the same with the JFK files,
JFK,
RFK files,
Martin
MLK?
Luther King. Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're listening to her talk about how this whistleblower gave her the heads up, yeah, you do not have everything. We've got stuff here in the Southern District of New York. When you hear that and then she's able to turn it around that quickly, I think two things. Good for the whistleblower. And secondly, kind of what you were saying, Ryan, you just that easily, you just turn over all those documents? Have they been gone through? Have they been hampered in any way, shape, or form, or altered? But I do think that whatever they're gathering right now, it's got to be more information that hasn't been made public, I would think.
I don't know. I wonder if we get all this information and it's the same stuff that's already out there.
Could be. Could be. I think it's incredibly important that the Epstein files are released. I care more about the Epstein stuff than I do the JFK stuff or the MLK stuff. Because the Epstein stuff is now.
That's now. And those are the people that, you know, whenever we talk about these shadowy figures, international whoever's, that's these people. You'd think that no matter what was going on and who was involved, somebody has been very successful at keeping all this pretty quiet, despite intense scrutiny and interest in it.
I'd like to see the victims be able to see justice. I don't need there to be, let's let all the time pass so everybody's dead so that our children's children can see into this and not have the concern that we have right now, and how much of this type of behavior is continuing on right now because the people haven't been held to account. But that's just all inference. What do we know? What do we not know? What have we inferred that is completely wrong? What have we missed that is also completely wrong?
You know, the moment that I said, okay, I'm done pretending like this is not some sort of cover-up, because the Epstein dying in prison and just happened to have the cameras go out, I mean, come on. But the minute it really turned for me was when you found out that the lawyer prosecuting Ghislaine Maxwell, who is the last one really with access to everything, was the daughter of James Comey.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, this is everybody's on the take here. Everybody's on the inside. I don't know who's gaining what, but it's all a big cluster and they're all friends.
Andy puts on YouTube, Annie, what percentage would you give to the idea that there is no list to be found and this is just a distraction? I think we have enough information to know what has happened on Epstein Island. And my understanding of this situation is that Epstein was a power broker. And what he provided for people with video cameras all over the place, his knowledge, his documentation, and the ability to push back, that gives him power. So I would say it exists. 99% chance it exists. Real quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America. What are you gonna? I didn't.
These are phrases that women use that we have to discern what they mean, we as men. And I thought I'd bring some of these phrases and we would both discern what they mean, and then you could tell us whether we were right.
Have I ever said any of these phrases to you guys?
TBD.
This should be good. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
The Dinamore Group, you find them online at thedidamoregroup.com. They're great people, first and foremost, but experts in the field with which they work. The number one team and the number one office in the Metro East for buying and selling real estate, of course, in the Metro East, but throughout Illinois and Missouri. If you can hear me on the radio right now, they know the area and they are ready to help you sell and list and get top dollar. I just heard home prices. I think I heard on a news report earlier today that home prices have gone up 13%. You might be thinking about selling right now, and it sounds like you might be able to get a good price for your house. That's where you call the Didamore Group to find out exactly what you're looking at. Get some facts behind some of those dreams that you might have about a relocation, a downsizing because the kids are out. Maybe you need to upsize because the kids, maybe you have more kids. You got 4 kids. You need a bigger house. That's kind of the way I felt in the last few years of my life. 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. You are getting expert advice, help, and guidance when you partner with the Didamore Group for your real estate needs. I trust Tammy Didamore and her entire team. You can too. 618-531-4652. TheDidamoreGroup.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and worried about market volatility and losses at this stage in your life? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you are 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you are 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. We know the loss and the cost of an accident because when an insurance company offers a lowball settlement, we go to war for you and take the fight to the insurance company. Call 314-500-5000.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is grade the state of the union, not the speech, but the state of the country as it is right now. A, B, C, D, or F. That is the standard grading that you get on a YouTube live chat poll. And that is what we're doing today. Grade the state of the union. It is 12:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk presents Talk in Action, where we shine a spotlight on local charities making a difference in our community. Join us as we give back and connect neighbors in need. Visit 971talk.com/talkinaction to learn more. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
You go.
Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins!
Well, you know what that song means.
Yeah, it's just a reminder of what we all wore to school.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what that song means, but we could talk about that later.
You want to talk about it later? I think you might want to talk about it now.
Would be perfect for a Wiggins America segment.
Yeah. No, do your segment.
Well, I don't actually know what you're saying, and that's the point of this segment, is that nobody knows really what women mean when they say anything. And this...
Say that again? I wasn't listening.
I think that might be my point, but I'm not sure. This is things women say and what they really mean when they say them.
This is going to be wonderful.
So I'm just going to read through a few here.
This is a really great opportunity for you to get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, ladies.
Yes, and I'll monitor that too. I would like to see.
No. You just do your segment. You just be authentically yourself.
I can do no other.
Okay, Martin.
Okay, number one. Now, this one's about dating. Some of these are not, but this one says, I'm not really looking for a relationship right now.
That means I'm not interested in you.
That means I'm not interested in a relationship with you in particular.
Yeah, that's a nice way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you rather hear I'm not looking for a relationship right now? Other than I don't really like you like that.
Ryan, did you ever get that one?
No.
No, they were more direct.
Really?
They were much more direct than that because
Oh.
otherwise I would not have picked it up.
Gotcha.
They were like, stop talking to me. And I was like, I'm picking up some weird vibes here. You don't like the hint.
Part of that probably had to do with how forward you were, because you've discussed just how you just went for it.
Mm-hmm. I was a man's man, you could say. I saw something and I said, I would like that, and I would go for it. Let's move on to number 2. I'm fine. When a woman says I'm fine, what does it mean?
It means she's fine. You, however, are not.
What do you think?
She just told us, and she's a woman, so I believe that.
I didn't hear anything she said.
Are you a woman?
I'm going to agree with Annie on this one. You're in trouble.
What the article says is the translation from I'm fine is I'm not really fine.
No, that's not it.
But just let me be.
Who wrote this article?
This is from yourtango.com.
Who's the author? Is it George or is it Jennifer?
Mitzi.
Is there a pronoun?
Mitzi.
Mitzi?
That is the pronoun.
Mitzi.
That's Mitzi.
That sounds like
Yeah.
a name from
That's a girl.
Legally Blonde or something.
Mitzi. Mitzi wrote this. And she says that whenever she says whatever, that means it is what it is. You may have won this one, but I will not admit it and accept defeat.
I think it's kind of silly to think about these as only phrases that women say. There's never been a dude that's been like, I'm fine. Which is really like, I'm not really happy right now, but I'm not really interested in having a conversation with you about it.
Yeah, that may be true, except that I think that I'm fine probably means something deeper when a woman says it than when a man says it.
Whatever.
When a man says it, he's just like, he's just sort of shrugging it off.
Or it's I'll
That's
figure
not
it
true
out.
at all.
I'll figure it out.
Yes, exactly the same though.
You think?
It doesn't mean that I'm actually like fine in life and everything is hunky dory, but it means like this is going to be my business and not your business.
Fine is the F word in my house that my wife is not allowed to say, because I know it always means something else.
What do you give her for an allowance?
Ethan is not allowed to
6
say the other
cents
F
a day.
word.
Correct.
That was the deal they made. It's their marriage and they're
She
happy.
can say
Leave
it
them
all she
alone.
wants, though. And he just goes,
honestly,
fine.
honestly, the sad reality
And she
is,
says,
sad reality is she does much better than me.
yeah.
Whatever. All right. The next one is I'll be ready in 5 minutes. What does a woman mean when she says that?
That she's not ready yet.
5 minutes equals an hour, maybe a few hours?
I was gonna say multiply by 5.
I think that's ridiculous. I think that's a trope. And I think that if I'll be ready in 5 minutes means I'm not ready yet and I'm going as fast as I can. I guess it really depends on how much work you have to do in order to get ready. I do my makeup in the car, so I hate being late. I want to be 10 minutes early in case you come into traffic or something like that, then you're still on time. If you're just, I don't know what it's really like to go out on dates. I don't get to do that anymore.
I don't know that this is in here, but define high maintenance. What would be considered high maintenance? If
for a dude, because I can think of some high maintenance dudes right now.
For a woman, how would you define somebody who's high maintenance? What is the characteristic?
There's physical high maintenance, but there's also emotional high maintenance.
Okay.
Emotional high maintenance is people who don't have a sense of security about themselves, a confidence about themselves. The less self-confidence you have, the more high maintenance you're going to be, because your emotions are going to be very affected by a lot of outside factors. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's important to know that about someone, that because if you love that person, you need to know that about them, and you need to be there for them. High maintenance in a physical sense, I mean, I don't know. What you tell me. Are you high maintenance?
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty low maintenance.
Not physically.
Yeah, definitely not physically. Emotionally, no either. Nope, not high maintenance.
Yeah, that's right.
Would you describe me as high maintenance? Emotionally? Or just needy?
Depends on the time of the month. My time of the month.
How about this one? There's a lot of really good ones in here. But how about, I don't know what I want to eat?
Ooh, I am high maintenance in that regard. But
Okay.
there's not an answer that I have in my head. Like my husband will just, it's like a slot machine where you pull the bar and you like have three things come up. He just starts listing things and I'm like, nope, pull it again.
That's exactly what this says.
What does it say?
It's just basically, there's not a lot to it. It says, I'm craving a cheeseburger, but you know what? Pasta sounds good too. Or there's a new Asian restaurant around the corner.
That's
It's
the
just
opposite
anything.
for me though. Like it's not about everything sounds good. It's that like nothing really is sounding worth the effort to eat the calories. So what is it that would sound good? I guess, yeah.
So you're high maintenance with that question.
I'm a high maintenance eater. And my husband's very loving about it.
Well, thank you for clearing that up. I think we all are better having heard that.
Let's take a break. Joe Concha and Jim Talent next.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Do you ever wonder if you've saved enough to retire? Discover how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey guys, it's Dave Glover here. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience, and they're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing your Social Security, paying for health care, and more. There's no cost. We would ask that you bring 3 canned goods that we're going to pass on to the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. So you have 2 jobs when it comes to retirement, in my humble opinion. One is saving the money, putting it away. And then the other, just as important, is how do you take it out and what do you do with it after that? Find out at Retirement Planning 101. Simply call 314-350-8110. Again, no money necessary. 314-350-8110. 350-8110. Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Triton Exteriors. Hopefully you've heard me talk about Triton before. And you know that I'm good friends with their owner, Tim, that I love their commitment to customer service. Tim comes from the restaurant business, and so he is completely focused on your happiness. The answer is yes. What's the question? Also, we're not just your average contractor. We're your neighbor. We're proudly based in Shrewsbury. We deliver stunning exteriors with James Hardie Siding. So why James Hardie? Why is that a big deal? Well, it's the #1 brand for durability, curb appeal, and the best-in-class return on investment. As part of the James Hardie Alliance, we bring expert craftsmanship and a personal touch to every project. Your home deserves the best, and with Triton Exteriors and James Hardie, that's exactly what you're going to get. For roofing, siding, gutters, or fences, call 314-717-1159 or go to triton-stl.com, 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Zelensky blinks. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. Ukraine's president posting a mea culpa on social media, calling his dust-up last week with President Trump regrettable and saying he's ready to ink that rare earth minerals deal and start peace talks. Zelensky saying nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians. His posting coming only hours after President Trump temporarily suspended all U.S. military aid to Ukraine, a move defended by Vice President Vance today at the Capitol.
We want the Ukrainians to have a sovereign and an independent country. We think the Ukrainian troops have fought very bravely, but we're at a point here where neither Europe nor the United States nor the Ukrainians can continue this war indefinitely.
The tariff war with Canada and Mexico is on. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on the 25% tariffs imposed by President Trump today over.
Chosen to launch a trade war that will first and foremost harm American families. They've chosen to sabotage their own agenda that was supposed to usher in a new golden age for the United States.
Trudeau announcing a 25% tariff on certain imports from the U.S. The president posting on social media that someone should remind Trudeau that the U.S. now has a policy of reciprocal tariffs. Mexico's President Sheinbaum says she'll announce Mexico's response at a weekend rally. The president speaks to a joint session of Congress tonight. Some Democrats will skip it. Others are planning
disruption and defiance over Doge. They may even be coordinating their outfits in protest. Some Democrats making fired federal workers their +1 to President Trump's address tonight. Senator Elizabeth Warren bringing a former employee of the National Science Foundation who was laid off by Doge. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Trump's not worried about whatever protests Democrats have planned. He's excited to tell the American people what he has done over the past month and a half.
Fox's Hillary Vaughn, America's listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Strong gusty winds as we go through our Tuesday afternoon. Some of the wind gusts could be over 40 miles per hour, and there will be another rather fast round of showers and a couple of thunderstorms. 62 for the high. Tonight, showers, windy and 42. Wednesday, morning showers, windy and colder. 45, that's it for the high, but it feels colder. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some snow flurries around on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Make this the year you upgrade your backyard with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here. Mention my name. You're going to get 48 months interest-free financing on that great outdoor project. You will love working with my friends at Chesterfield Fence. They do free in-home estimates at no obligation, free project design in case you've got something in mind already. Maybe you need a new fence. They do wood and vinyl. Those vinyl fences, low maintenance, lifetime product. You can do aluminum, steel, or chain link point fences as well. And when it comes to decks, nobody does it better. Beautiful natural cedar decks. They've got the vinyl decking as well, which is maintenance free and a beautiful array of colors. Plus, they do custom sunrooms, pergolas, screen rooms, even retaining walls and patio doors. So you could talk to my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. They are Better Business Bureau accredited with an A+ rating. Go online today at chesterfieldfence.com.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Tonight, President Trump gives his address to the nation and a joint session of Congress. Hear the whole address here, starting at 8 and continuing coverage until 11. It's Trump's first full address as president in his second term. Tonight.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is anchor man, not anchor lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Speaking of delivering for the American people, President Trump makes his triumphant return, of course, tonight, as was mentioned. It's 5 years after his last State of the Union address. This is a joint address to Congress, not a State of the Union, because a State of the Union is typically delivered on or around the sort of the 1 year anniversary, first year in office. But this president is working so quickly, I invited him to come early in the process to give this joint address because there's so much to report to the people. And we're delighted he's going to be there.
Yeah, just like Speaker Johnson said there, it isn't the State of the Union, it's a joint address because he is in a position to be giving it the first time for the second term, which is non-sequential, complicated. It's going to look like a State of the Union. And honestly, 6 weeks into this presidency, there is a lot to talk about regarding how President Trump has affected the State of the Union. Let's get to our guest. Joe Concha is with us right now, of course, a Fox News contributor. His book, The Greatest Comeback Ever Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign, is coming up. We're in March, which means it's 1 month away. Joe, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you here.
Always a pleasure to be here, Annie. How are you on this fine State of the Union Tuesday? By the way, can we call it State of the Union? Enough of this joint session to Congress.
It's just for nerds. People
It's
who are
for
like,
nerds.
actually, yes, exactly. I agree with that.
You know, he hasn't been in office for the last year, so it has to be called, shut up. It's a State of the Union. Sorry.
I completely agree with you on that. Give me your thoughts on, the idea of renewing the American dream is what he's supposed to talk about tonight. In the meantime, we've got Justin Trudeau, Governor Trudeau, if you ask President Trump, calling President Trump Donald. Zelensky is saying maybe I'm going to come back to the table because he says it was regrettable. There's a lot going on in one individual day here.
Yeah, the governor of Trumpsylvania, the 51st state of Canada. He's really been vocal on his way out the door, hasn't he? Real tough guy now. This goes back to what we heard during the inauguration as far as the golden age of America and just optimism, which we don't hear from Democrats in any way, shape, or form. All I'm reading today now is that they're going to have maybe noisemakers, or they're all going to wear Ukrainian-colored ties in solidarity with Vladimir Zelensky. What are you in solidarity with this guy about exactly? I mean, he looks like he's about to go dressed to go raise the roof at a club in Istanbul, all right, when he shows up to the Oval Office, for starters. And then he had this deal, this great deal. Raw minerals, we have corporate boots on the ground. That is the security guarantee. America's not going to let anything happen to all of our interests there as far as Russia, and the Europeans would provide military equipment on top of that. This ends this war that no one wants anymore, and Zelensky's got to go in there and pick a fight. And now it sounds like he's going to come back to the negotiating table, or not negotiating, just sign the damn thing already,
right,
and we'll be good to go. So overall, you look at these first 6 weeks of the Trump presidency, Annie, and it's success after success. When you take away all the noise as far as finding all this waste, fraud, and corruption through DOJ, but more importantly, the U.S. southern border. I always heard from Kamala Harris and Joe Biden that Congress needed to act, and we needed this big bill in order to pass. All I know is we had 10,000 crossings a day under Biden at one point, and now we're almost down to virtually zero, just by the president saying don't come and sending a couple thousand troops down there, and that's what did the trick. So that's going to be a big story tonight, obviously.
You know, I think watching, we played the whole exchange here on our show because it was just so wild to watch the exchange between Zelensky and Trump in the Oval Office. Zelensky continuing to talk over. Nobody wanted to let anybody speak, but you're in the Oval Office. You're in the President of the United States office there. It was so bizarre to watch all of that. And, you know, days removed now from that event, knowing that they had the deal ready to sign and the sandwiches to go with it for lunch, waiting in the room next to the Oval Office. I'm watching the Democrats, you know, really react negatively to this because they're pro-Zelensky, which is ironically not necessarily pro-American.
Yeah.
What do they want Trump to? What do they want this president to do for Ukraine that America hasn't already done beyond really our means to be able to adhere to it?
$350 billion spent so far, $100 billion of it we can't even account for. So Democrats are pro-waste, fraud, and corruption, apparently, and no accountability. No, it's not that they want Trump to do anything for Ukraine. They want him to fail. So if Trump achieves a peace deal, that's very bad for the Democratic Party. Not for the world, not for the Ukrainian people, not for the Russians, and not for the Europeans, and not for the American people. It's bad for Democrats. So reflexively, they take this stand like they're standing up against this stupid line. They keep saying over and over again, they're standing up for democracy in Ukraine. That is not a democracy. You're literally seeing men pulled out of restaurants, pulled out of their homes, and being forced to the front line. And meanwhile, we haven't heard elections being held there in 3 years because Zelensky knows that if there is an election, good chance he loses. So overall, yeah, you got to have good faith brokering here. And Zelensky had a 2-inch putt here. Just sign that agreement. Then we could talk about security guarantees through having American investments in your country. And you end this war and you save perhaps, you know, hundreds of thousands of lives, over the 100,000 lives that have already been lost. I'm not saying that Zelensky is the bad guy here. Putin was the bad guy. But the reality is they're not leaving the Donbass region, eastern Ukraine. Unfortunately, that has to go to Russia because they're not going to leave, and there's no military way to get them out of there. So give them that. Ukraine gets a great investment deal with us, and they don't get to join NATO because that's what provoked this whole thing in the first place. And that's the end of it because no one wants this war anymore. Zelensky still thinks it's 2022, and the American media are completely on his side. Some are, yes, but this ain't 2022 anymore because people know what a stalemate looks like and smells like, and that's exactly what this is, and we don't want to have any more American money going there anymore.
You know, we've seen the entire time that Donald Trump has been on the political scene, the Democrats salivating over trying to tie Donald Trump to Putin and to Russian interests. Nobody loves and needs the Russian situation and scenario more than the Democratic Party right now, the people who only care about politics, never care about policy. The tying Donald Trump to Putin is the only thing that matters to this crazy wing of the Democratic Party, and they're willing to put war in priority over Americans' best interest here in order to continue the ruse so that Donald Trump looks bad. How does Donald Trump respond to that tonight at this joint address to Congress / State of the Union and going on here?
He should say, you know what? We should have a special counsel. And we should have a former FBI director like Robert Mueller. We should give him millions of dollars and thousands of resources to investigate whether I have any ties to Vladimir Putin. Oh, that's right. We already did that. We already did that for 3 years during the first presidency. The fact they keep going back to this, he's a Putin puppet. I'm telling you, this tells you that we have a Democratic Party that has no message, all right, around inflation, because we saw that over the last 4 years, around crime, certainly didn't have anything around the border. They're apparently a pro-war party now because they want the war to go on in Ukraine in perpetuity. And overall, who's their leader? Like, who's leading this party? Is it Jasmine Crockett? Because you want to see a lot more of her if you're a Republican. That's certainly for sure. Is it AOC? Is it Chuck Schumer? Is it who? Goofy Tim Walz, who's entertaining a presidential run? They don't have a leader. They don't have a message, and they don't have anything optimistic about the country. So they could do all their protesting they want as they like with noisemakers or walking out during Trump's speech. That didn't reflect well on Nancy Pelosi at all when she did that during the last State of the Union that Trump had, and it won't reflect well now. And by the way, if Trump says something along the lines that Democrats in the Senate refuse to back, 45 of them, enough to kill it, women competing against men in sports, that being a bad thing, if they somehow object to that or boo, go ahead. Because you're on the 20 side of an 80-20 issue. There's just no common sense on that side of the aisle anymore. It's really remarkable to watch.
Yeah, completely right. Speaking with Joe Concha right now, the Russia story is the in case of emergency break glass, and then you pull out the latest Russia hoax that you can come up with. Donald Trump knows that. Watching the joint address tonight, we expect that maybe some Democrats won't show up. Maybe some Democrats will show up in, they'll have to pick which Ukraine blue and yellow outfit that they wear to support Ukraine over the United States tonight. What do you expect to see from the opposition party at this joint address this evening?
Some said they will not show up, so they'll boycott it. And okay, great. You don't see them. They're out of sight, out of mind, I suppose. I'm seeing that Hakeem Jeffries is saying, let's not do any noisemakers. Let's not heckle the president. If they do that, they'll look immature, and as usual, they're allowing their emotions to get to them. But more importantly, they'll look like the party that's taking their cues from MSNBC at this point. And that's not what you want to do, because at this point, MSNBC, I think, has more employees than actual viewers. So, that message is gone, right? I mean, there never was one, really. I mean, if it's just to resist, and they think, again, this is 2017, and if they scream loud enough that that's going to have some sort of negative impact on Trump, the problem is they're on the wrong side of almost every major issue. And when that happens, and the American people still, support Donald Trump, 50, 51, 52% approval, which is his all-time high, they're going to look stupid, they're going to look immature, and they're going to look like a party that isn't offering anything in terms of a tangible solution while not even be able to have a conversation, instead acting like, it's sophomore year and it's well past their curfew at this point.
Joe, before we let you go, we have a poll every day on the show. We ask our YouTube audience to go vote in it. And today is grade the State of the Union, the state of the country. Granted, a lot of people are making sure that we understand that it started as an F before Donald Trump took over. What do you think about the state of the country right now?
State of the country is improving, right? We mentioned the border before. This war in Ukraine could be ending as well. So that's all good. And we just see overall more Americans are optimistic about the next 4 years than certainly they were during the last 4. So the state of our union is strong, but until some real laws are passed, besides executive orders, it is one that is still in flux. And it is a state of the union, Annie, that is hopelessly divided.
That is absolutely the case. Well, we look forward to talking to you again pretty soon. That book of yours is going to be come out, and the greatest comeback ever, materializing now in front of our eyes as the president is going to deliver that address tonight. We look forward to following you on X and getting all your hot takes.
Thanks, Annie.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Joe Concha on X at Joe Concha TV. A great follow. He is always very pithy with his remarks, but also paying a lot of attention to how the media is reacting and kind of keep the temperature of the room by following Joe Concha TV on X. His book, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign, will be available in April. I'm looking forward to the speech tonight. I'm going to watch it and take it in, and I'm sure many of you are as well. I'll be curious to see the mood, the tone that President Trump takes, especially considering it's the first address he gets to give. So you can, if it's the last one you're going to deliver, and you know that either it's the end of your term as president or you're in an election year, that kind of will shade the way that you present your tone to the American people. There's a lot of winning taking place, but there's also a lot of sitting on the edge of your seat that's taking place with the tariffs that are being implemented. We're doing things that we haven't done before. And the uncertainty that evokes a lot with the business climate and everything. We'll see how Donald Trump chooses to present what they've been able to do in those first 6 weeks, but then also what he has in store coming up in the coming weeks, months, and years. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, very excited to have former United States Senator from Missouri, Jim Talent, on the show with us. He is the chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council, and we're going to talk to him about the Zelensky situation with Ukraine, the minerals deal, the peace deal. Also going to get his thoughts on the tariff Cold War of sorts that is taking place with Canada. North of us, Justin Trudeau addressing President Trump today as Donald. Of course, after Donald Trump has referred to Justin Trudeau as governor, it continues. We have Jim Talent when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
What you know, Joe?
RulerFoods.com, stocking up on nice, yummy groceries for tonight's big party for the joint address to Congress. I don't know. You probably do need to eat dinner, though. So whether it's a party or whether it's just dinner, spend less when you shop at Ruler Foods. Ruler Foods carries Kroger brands, but they carry them at Ruler Foods prices, and they are delicious. They are reliable. Our family shops them all of the time. Had a remark from somebody on X here over the weekend, was talking about stopping by the Ruler Foods in Collinsville. I think he said he picked up like some cheese-filled brats or something. He said they're spectacular. So maybe you could take his recommendation for it. Let me tell you about some of the things you can save on right now through March 11th. Strawberries in a 1-pound package, $2.49 each. Avocados, delicious. You know you want to eat guacamole tonight during the speech. Those are 89 cents each, and they're delicious. We love those in our house. Kroger 80% lean ground beef sold in a 3-pound roll, $3.99 a pound. Also, Kroger shredded or bar cheese, 8 ounces, 3 for $5. Sounds like Taco Tuesday if you go to Ruler Foods tonight. Make sure you check out the one that's closest to you by visiting them online. You can also even schedule a delivery. Save when you shop at Ruler Foods. Go to rulerfoods.com.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Mark Cox here. Are you looking for the perfect start to your child's education? At Kirk Day School, the early childhood program for ages 3 and 4 is where your little one will learn to thrive. They have hands-on activities, nurturing teachers, and a biblical worldview. You can attend their early childhood open house Friday, March 7th. Meet the dedicated educators, and tour their Christ-centered classrooms. To register for their early childhood open house and learn more, visit kirkdayschool.org.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, Audacy. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the preferred partner plan and be ready for the first heat wave. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Tuesday afternoon is going to be a big night on Capitol Hill with President Trump's address to a joint session of Congress. We'll have a preview and the latest.
The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6. Right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Waiting for the time to pass you by. Hope the winds of change will change your mind. I could give 1,000 reasons why.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Breaking news that President Trump, for now, pausing all U.S. military aid to Ukraine until he determines that the Ukrainians are actually showing some good faith peace negotiations commitment. And a senior Trump administration official is telling Fox this is not a permanent termination of aid, it's a pause.
So there was the news breaking last night on the Ingram show, that's when it came out, that the United States has talked about it, a temporary pause, initiated a temporary pause on military aid, waiting for good faith negotiations, peace negotiations to come back into play. We wanted to get somebody on here who could walk us through where we are right now in this negotiation, or whatever you might want to call it, with Zelensky, Ukraine, and President Trump. We welcome former United States Senator from Missouri, Senator Jim Talent, to the show, also the chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. Thank you, Senator, for being with us here today. It's great to have you.
Hey, thanks for asking me, Annie.
You bet. You know, I wanted to get your open thoughts on where we are right now, trying to achieve peace between Russia and Ukraine. Lots has transpired. What are you thinking right now about where peace might be acquired between these two countries?
Well, I think the opportunity for a deal that is in our interests and also in Ukraine's interests is still very strong. So we got involved in the war because of the old saw, you know, the enemy of my adversary is my friend, and Russia under Putin had made itself the adversary of the United States, not just in Eastern Europe, but also in the Middle East, and with their unlimited friendship for China. But I wrote 2 years ago that it was not in our interest as a country to finance indefinitely a static battlefield, which is what it looked very much to me like it was going to become. And it's not in Ukraine's interest either to fight a war of attrition. And so the obvious deal is basically a ceasefire more or less along existing lines. Ukraine gets rebuilt, and it ought to be with European money. And then there is some kind of an effective guarantee going forward to protect against further aggression. Russia, meanwhile, gets out of the war. And there may be some other sweeteners in there, like lowering sanctions, which they've talked about. And that's what Trump was headed to. I don't even think it was a policy choice so much as just an inevitable recognition of reality that this war going on like this isn't in anybody's benefit. So that's what the deal needed to be. Now, they were proceeding towards that. And the obvious point of this rare earth minerals deal was to knit Ukraine more closely to the United States and to the West so that we would have an interest in protecting their sovereignty in the future. Is also a very good deal for us because we need their rare earth minerals, and a good deal for them because it would help rebuild the country. So that's the background. Now, real quickly, when Zelensky did what he did, whether he intended to do it or he just blew up or both, effectively, in the context of negotiation, what he was saying was, well, I don't think President Trump will dare exercise the leverage to try and get me to the table by cutting off or suspending military aid. Well, if you're the president, the only way you can respond to that in the context of negotiations is to show, no, actually, I do have that leverage over you. And that's what the president did. I mean, it had to follow. The logic of negotiations meant it had to follow. And Zelensky has now said, oh, gee, this was all very regrettable. I really do want peace. I think we can negotiate. So I'm hopeful that this will be a bump in the road, and I think that's probably what President Trump believes. And I'll just say, Annie, this was never going to be easy, but it's necessary. And I think, Trump is right that he's the one to do it.
We're speaking with Senator Jim Talent here on the Annie Frey Show. I'm wondering how much of what takes place all the time in negotiations. It's just so rare that we, via the press, are privy to be able to see this type of negotiation taking place. Is this common, the way the back and forth took place, maybe in a more private setting, and it's just odd that we were able to take it in?
Well, it's common for President Trump to be more transparent publicly than most presidents would be. And, he talks about tactics publicly, but no, I would have to say this was pretty extraordinary. There's a lot of work behind the scenes that goes into these, president-to-president meetings. And it's very clear, everybody has said this, that this was supposed to be Zelensky coming in. They do the handshake, the mutual compliments, they sign the agreement, they have lunch, and he goes home. And it was clear that that's what the Ukrainians had committed to doing and what the United States had committed to doing. And to blow it up publicly like that, I'm not a diplomat, Annie, but I know enough about it to know, yes, that was pretty extraordinary. And as I said, really after that, I don't think the American government had much choice, but if it wanted to get the negotiations back on track, but to do what we did, and it worked.
We're speaking with the chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council, and, of course, former United States Senator from Missouri, Jim Talent. Can I ask you some questions, or maybe just an open question about the minerals deal? Because I hear a lot of people read a lot about, in short form on X posts and stuff about what the minerals deal entails. Some people saying the United States is going to go over to Ukraine and pillage their land and take all of their rare earth. What is the minerals deal exactly?
Well, rare earth minerals, and there's a number of different ones, they're extremely valuable and they're necessary to a sophisticated economy. The Chinese right now have the lion's share of them, in particular the lion's share of the processing of them. That's a security risk in addition to being an economic liability for us and indeed for the rest of the world. So Ukraine has a number of those rare earth minerals. They can't develop them because, well, yes, they're fighting a war now, but they don't have the means. They don't have the capital. They don't have the technology. They don't have the workforce. They don't have the companies to develop them. So this is a natural opportunity for the United States to invest there. No, we were never going to it wasn't a case where they had to give us their rare earth minerals. It was a case where we would develop it, and then there would be a sharing in the profits because they own them, right? Mm-hmm. And so it would be beneficial for us from a number of different standpoints. The broader sense, because what Trump is trying to do is he's trying to say, look, a security guarantee without the kind of connections between Ukraine and the West that give us a reason to try and defend them is not going to protect Ukraine, and it's not going to help us. And so he's saying this serves both foreign policy and security purposes and economic purposes and helps us get supply chains independent of China. It's a win-win for everybody, which is probably the reason the administration proposed it. Mm. And it's something Ukraine needed to go along with. I think Zelensky is having difficulty backing away from his maximalist goals, but Putin's going to have to do the same thing. I mean, Putin wants to detach the entirety of 4 provinces in the east, which he has not conquered. He wants Ukraine to agree never to arm itself again, and he wants us to agree not to sell them arms. And he's not going to get any of that. And Ukraine is not going to get a commitment to try and force Russia out of Crimea. They tried to do that with an offensive in 2023, and it failed. So we're going to go back to the status quo ante from a territory standpoint. Russia will probably get a little more territory. And then we're going to do what we should have done, and Trump tried to do, which is develop the kind of relationship which will be a deterrent to further aggression in the future and will stabilize Europe.
Senator Talent, this is obviously something that's being shared by a political party with a lot of political ramifications, consequences. I think that's the intention, at least. But in your expertise, is Donald Trump cozying up to Vladimir Putin?
No, I mean, and not broadly speaking, and not with regard to Ukraine either. I mean, Trump was the only president who actually armed the Ukrainians. He also put sanctions on the Nord Stream pipeline, which the Europeans didn't want because their policy at the time was to be dependent on Russian energy. Trump went over there and said, "This is dumb. You're dependent on somebody who does not have your interests in mind." So, no, that's just not true. It's just if you want to – Ukraine's not going to win this war. We have to have an agreement. An agreement has to be signed by both sides. And as Trump said, if you're trying to be an honest broker, which is what he wants to do, you don't accomplish that by attacking either side. And so he said, I'm not going to go around attacking Vladimir Putin when I want him to sign an agreement. But that doesn't mean he's going to give him what he wants. They're both going to have to compromise.
Senator Talent, after the confrontation in the Oval Office on Friday, there was a flurry of comments. You'll notice the trend here. I'm referring to things that are read on X because this is where a lot of talking happens. And I know that you know very much so that talking is a lot different than action. When you see these world leaders, these people representing countries all over the place saying, I stand with Ukraine, and then we see, the UK saying, we're gonna support you, we're gonna back you, so on and so forth. Do these countries have the ability to provide Ukraine what the United States was offering to provide Ukraine in lieu of the United States being involved at all?
No, I mean they can assist, but they've allowed the defense establishments to atrophy. They're basically virtually disarmed. I wrote a column about 10 years ago, which I pointed out that the Germans, who used to have a very strong army, had used broomsticks in their training exercises because they didn't have enough rifles. So, they're very fierce in their rhetoric, but not in war or in preparing for war. And Putin, no aggressor, Putin or anybody else is going to be deterred, by promises or rhetoric. They're going to be deterred by nations tending to their interests, developing common interests with allies and partners, and then preparing to defend them, which is why the Trump administration, and in fact every administration, Trump was certainly not the only ones to do this, have insisted that the NATO allies, and in particular the Western Europeans, have to start spending more money on their defense. I mean, they're going to continue to need American leadership, certain American command, certain American specialties like intelligence. They're going to need American support, but they can be doing a lot more than they're doing. And if they value the alliance, that's what they'll do. But they've worked themselves into this rhythm of, the Americans do everything for them. And then, by the way, they never hesitate to criticize us.
Right.
I mean, I'm not trying to. This is not a healthy relationship. And every president's been saying this. They need to do more, particularly with regard to Europe. And they can. The war has shown, Annie, that Putin's ground forces are not that strong. Really, the Europeans, if they were to establish, and they would need our help with this, but if they were to establish a base in Eastern Europe, say in Poland, the Poles are doing very well in terms of preparing. 5 or 6 brigades, several of them armored brigades, some air power, the supporting infrastructure. That would be pretty effective in deterring any kind of aggression against NATO or, for that matter, Ukraine. And that's well within their capabilities to do. They just haven't been doing it. They talk about it, but they don't do it. So, look, my attitude is if they want to be more independent and develop their defenses and take more responsibility, I'm fine. It's not. We have other fish to fry.
That's right. That's what Donald Trump has been saying in so many different ways that we can't be relied on and the only people in the game, that everyone needs to participate in a more equal fashion. And maybe this helps get that job done. Senator Talent, a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for those thoughts, those well thought out views on all of this, because it's complicated for people, and everybody who is in short form response on platforms like X, they're just trying to get a political gain out of it. And we know this is a longer game than that.
Yep. And it's a pleasure to be with you, Annie. Hope we can do it again.
I would look forward to that. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Jim Talent, former United States Senator from Missouri, chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. Great to have him on the show to break that down. Isn't it, to me, when I'm looking at what the Democrats are doing, to me it's like the only thing the Democrats want is to attach Trump and Putin. That's all that matters. It's not actually, like, you would think, again, going back to the I stand with Ukraine and Ukraine flags and all of the things that you put on your social media accounts to make sure everybody knows, essentially, when they see you, that you're a Democrat or that you're not a MAGA Trump Republican or whatever it is. That's why you put that up there. Wouldn't you want peace for those people? And the advocacy on the Democrat side is really just Trump and Putin, because all they care about is the disparaging of Donald Trump.
There is a certain percentage of the left, because it's not everybody, but there's a certain percentage of the left, and it has to be. I always refer to this poll because it was around 30% of the people walked away from the first debate between Biden and Trump and said, well, Biden won that. Like, they really don't have any consistency in their beliefs. There's no real bedrock to the morality. It's just based on whatever's currently happening. Exactly like you said, in the circle of Donald Trump. What's he doing? Whatever that is must be bad, so I'm against it. But if he switched, Donald Trump could tomorrow come out and completely switch a position on something, and they would just turn as fast as he would.
Yeah. Because everything, their world revolves around Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad,
It's not all the left, though, but it is a huge portion of the
loudest.
drive. Yes,
it's the loudest portion of the left. And honestly, I'm in a politically unfortunate way okay with it, because the people who are being quiet right now on the left, those are the people who are going to save the party.
Yes.
When they start speaking up. And I haven't seen it yet. Quick break. When we come back, we're going to grade the State of the Union. We'll do that here on the show. What is your thoughts on the state of the country at this point? Some comments that we've gotten from you folks on YouTube already, and you can come join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and leave your vote and comments as well. Ron says B/C, no Epstein files? No way. More on the Epstein files that folks want. Dr. P says B/C because we're off to a great start, but there's so much to do. And Chris says, I said B/C. It's moving up from a DF from the last administration. What are your thoughts? Leave them. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Won't admit what I already know. I've never been the best at letting go. I don't want to spend the night alone.
Well, it's time to talk to you again about Point Pest Control. I love them. They have kept my house bug-free for, I can say, years now. I use Point Pest Control inside and outside. They are able to treat my home and make it so I don't have to worry about seeing critters in my house. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. Call them directly at 636-798-0023. When you mention the Annie Fry Show, a reminder, you get an extra 10% discount on top of any specials that they have running right now. It's ant season. I'm talking about the critters that come into your house. You know when you get ants and then you're like, oh, gosh, we got to do this thing again. It takes, you try a million things to get rid of them, and you get rid of them for 2 days, and then you see an ant on the third day, and you're like, gosh darn it. Ants can appear any time of the year. As warm weather is setting in, ants settle in as well. During the spring, populations begin establishing nests, gross, and setting up foraging trails for the colony. Even grosser, if you want to get rid of ants, the second you see them, just call Point Pest Control. And if you say set yourself up for the quarterly plan like I have, they come out, they spray. I don't have bugs. It's really that simple. But they've told me, and they'll tell you too, if you're on that quarterly plan and you see an ant, you call them and say, I have an ant and I need it dead, and I need it dead right now. And then they come out and they kill it, and they make sure that the rest of them die as well. That sounds morbid, but it also makes me happy. 636-798-0023, 636-798-0023. Our friends at Point Pest Control, they're my best friends. PointPestControl.com.
Well, if you're like me and you enjoy wine, especially quality wine, you have to try the delicious wines from Stonehill Winery. This winery, if you've never been there, it's in Herman, Missouri, so it's local, been around since 1847. Listen to this. Stonehill's Cross J. Norton wine beat out 235 other wines in a Missouri wine competition this year and ended up winning the Governor's Cup. Stonehill is Missouri's oldest and now most awarded winery. The winery itself, this is really cool. It has the largest series of underground vaulted cellars in North America. So what's cool is if you get a chance to go to Herman, you can stop into Stonehill Winery and take a tour. Really cool. They do all kinds of events there, weddings. Think about how cool that would be. I got to try some of Stonehill's Ozark Hellbender the other night. It's a dry red wine, and it's fantastic. Actually, listen to the description of this wine, okay? Aromas of sweet cherry, blueberry pie smeared with a plum compote and drizzled with cinnamon sticks and toasted oak goodness. You can find Stonehill wines at virtually any retail store here in Missouri, brought to you by our friends at Lore Wine and Spirits.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
Grade the State of the Union A, B/C, D, or F. That is the state of the country, not the speech that has not happened yet. I'm not sure how you would rate the speech that is going to happen tonight. I start talking and I go, what am I saying?
I do that to you all the time.
Yeah, you do. You do that to me all the time, and it's still me doing it. YouTube live chat poll today. That is the question. Grade the State of the Union. 1:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Let's support Heroes Care through comedy. Annie Fry here. Join Heroes Care at the Westport Funny Bone Sunday, March 23rd for stand-up from St. Louis's own Will O'Donnell. That's Sunday, March 23rd. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
If you've been walking the same old road for miles and miles, if you've been hearing the same
This
old
is the
voice,
Annie Fry
same
Show.
old lies, if you're trying to feel
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
there's a better life. If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker.
This is just a simple reminder that Brian Kilmeade is coming to town. I didn't mention it during the time check, so I wanted to real quick before we get into the segment here. Saturday, March 22nd, Brian Kilmeade is going to be at the Factory in St. Charles. It's going to be a great night. If you've ever been to a Kilmeade event with us, we all have a lot of fun at these events. Annie and Mark will all be on the stage with him for part of this event. I think there's going to be a lot of comedy and history, in his words, of explaining what makes America great, where we've been, where we are now. You may be a part of that.
I think I was asked what I want to do, and I said, just tell me what you need me to do.
So you will be a part of that.
Have you heard what I'm supposed to do yet?
You're supposed to be on the stage.
Song and dance?
You speak for a good hour and a half. And then Brian comes on at the end and says, wasn't that great?
Annie Fry, ladies
and gentlemen.
He's Annie Fry, everybody.
So that is March 22nd if you want to see Annie speaking for a very long time.
That's not
completely
accurate.
ad-libbing.
Don't come because of that. Of course you're going to come because of Brian Kilmeade. That's why I'm going.
VIP meet and greet experiences can be added, by the way, to any existing seats.
Yeah.
So if you've already gotten a seat and you were going to get those, they were sold out. We've added a few more if you want
But
to
they're
add
limited, so they're going fast.
Yeah.
And thank you to Bob and Tammy Kershaw for the sponsorship for this
Exactly.
retirement advisor group. Very excited to have them involved.
You got it.
You want to give me a grade on the State of the Union? Of course, as you said, I love when I write a poll, then I have to explain it every time. Grade the State of the Union, the state of the country, A, B/C, D, or F. Ryan?
I'm really with everybody on this. It seems like most of the commenters are saying B/C because things are moving in the right direction, but gosh, there's so darn much to do.
James says on YouTube, America's grade is a high C, but if you consider it was around 30% F when Trump took office, the administration is definitely improving the grade, though. Brad?
Yeah, I'm with everybody else. The B/C would be my vote. My actual grade will be in a C, and it's like everybody else is saying. We were in rough shape when he came into office. I like everything about the trajectory that the country is going, and I think that given a little more time, given the current trajectory, we're going to be at that A level before we know it. But until then, it's like raising a bad grade in school. It's going to take a little time to dig out of the hole, but I think we're doing great.
I'm a B/C, but it's hard not to give America an A just because America deserves an A. But I think that's kind of the point. America does deserve to be an A. It should be an A. It is the A. If you're grading the world on a curve, America sets the curve. But I do think that there's a lot of remedy that needs to happen, and that's why we elected Donald Trump. And I think we actually have to remember when we elected him to do the hard things for the betterment of the country. And the fact that he's a zero fudge brownies given kind of guy makes it so that he's going to implement things in his own Donald Trump way. You know it's coming. And for when people are like, I like some of the things Donald Trump does, but just the way he acts, blah, 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 that's over. That's past. Mm-hmm. He has increased his support every time he's run for office. He has won people over with action, not with words. I mean, really in spite of it. And just think if from the very beginning, if the media would have covered Donald Trump fairly, all of this would have just been considered character, color, just something that's kind of fun that goes along with him, his personality. I mean, good grief. You got Joe Biden and everyone's like, oh, look at his Ray-Ban aviators. He's so cool. He was not cool.
He's like an uncle.
Yeah, because he says things that are regrettable. And sometimes racist. I mean, that's really like when you're watching Joe Biden stand there and talk about Indian people at 7-Elevens and stuff, that's career ending for a Republican. Because Republicans wouldn't stand for it. We've had our fair share of people who've run on our side of the party who were not good. I'm thinking of the Alabama senatorial candidate. What's his name?
Oh,
Roy
Moore.
Roy Moore.
I was thinking.
I don't even remember what he said. I just remember there was controversy.
There's just a lot of weird stuff. And I mean, it's like, come on, be better than that. But when Joe Biden does it, it's just he's just a colorful guy. But like, think about if they would have lauded over Donald Trump and all of his intricacies that many people have over the course of time come to love, really in spite of the losers that got put in place to do things in the party of the Democrats that is not pro-America. They are anti-America. We have spent probably 15 years, 2008, maybe more than 15 years, being told that America is bad, being told that America is originally sinful, being told that America is in some ways irredeemable, that you would have to transform the entire thing at the most foundational level in order to put it on the path of redeemability. Nobody, you would think that in a binary conversation that it's either that, what the Obama campaign and movement set into motion, you might be forced into a corner where you think it's either that or America has never done anything wrong. And America is the most BA country that's ever existed. Everything it's done because it's America is great, and it will always be great, and America can do no wrong. Neither one of those things is true. And the importance of acknowledging that America does have brokenness in its past, because how could it not? I mean, I believe in a sinful world. I do actually believe in original sin, but not just applied to the United States of America. The idea that brokenness and sinfulness exists is not special or proprietary only to the United States of America. And it certainly isn't proprietary only to the United States of America in so that one other political party can benefit from fixing it. That's just politics. when you really go back and think of the full context of American history, and you understand that America was the first country to ever kill itself over the idea of ending slavery, because that's where they were able to, so many of the righteous causes that the left seems to have right now was born out of, initially, the separation that this country has had between black people and white people. That was the initial thing. And when you think about how this country imported slavery, and you know that importing slavery was a very typical practice at the time that it was being done here, and then you realize that white people and black people and everybody in between fought and died over the ending of it here, I think that's a pretty magnificent thing. But we just skip over that part. That's not to be celebrated. In fact, they work really hard to make sure that you only remember that there was ever the bad thing, the big bad thing that happened. Of course it was big. Of course it was bad. But it's in 2025, you can walk around to people of all skin tones and say some of the things that come out of the deep academic, far left, progressive left Democrat Party, and present that to a man on the street of any shade of color, and they look at you like, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? This is America. And I always go back to Ami Horowitz, was that the guy who was talking about whether or not using ID to vote was racist or not. And when he was going from person to person to person, and they were mostly black people saying, do you think it's racist to require a state ID to vote? They're all like, why would that be racist? And he's like, well, do you know how to get an ID? And then they give the legit address to the DMV in downtown New York City. I can't think of anything more spot on than those conversations. And it's like pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. The whole thing is a ruse. The whole thing is a ruse. Yes, we have a-holes that exist. And if you're a racist person, then you qualify to be that category. There's a lot of people who hate people for stupid reasons. Those people are jerks. They're awful people. But you can't relegate them to just being Republicans. You can't just say that the jerks are in a political party. Both sides have them. And in the midst of redefining what all of our problems have been for the last 15 plus years, we forgot to address the actual problems that exist and getting taken to the cleaners from country to country to country to country so that some sort of more globalist, anti-American sentiment can really set in. Donald Trump is unafraid to try to remedy all those issues. And it's kind of white knuckle stuff to watch.
You're not saying either that it would be real easy to come on here and go, you know what, Democrats are stupid and they're jerks, and Republicans are not. That's not at all what you're saying.
No.
You're saying jerks exist on both sides, and it's ultimately the policies that matter, because that's what people vote on. And being given the gift, oddly, of having a president that knew not how to govern at all for 4 years, and then seeing somebody who does, it's interesting to see how many Americans are looking at the dichotomy between the two and going, well, I think I know which side I'm on.
Yeah, 100%. There's jerks on both sides, but there's also good people on both sides. I'm excited to hear what the president says tonight at the joint address. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. We'll be back. Just a minute. Don't go away.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Men, are you just not feeling it? Could be your testosterone. U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peter's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. Check out the testimonials at usmensmedicalcenter.com. Patients are excited about feeling great, having energy, improved libido. Plus, they love the staff and the fact that they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Spring's coming. Enjoy it. Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333. usmensmedicalcenter.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and worried about market volatility and losses at this stage in your life? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you are 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you are 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Rare Earth deal back on. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. Reuters reporting the U.S. and Ukraine will sign a deal allowing the U.S. access to rare earth minerals in Ukraine, and that President Trump wants it done in time for his address to Congress tonight. The sudden shift comes after Ukraine's President Zelensky on social media offered something of an apology for last week's Oval Office confrontation with the president.
Posting in part, our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to be. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. We would like future cooperation and communication to be constructive.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt adding,
the president is a deal maker, and that's what he wants to do. He wants this war to end.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says during the address to a joint session of Congress tonight, he expects the president will recap his list of achievements weeks into his second term.
Securing the border so well that border crossings have hit an historic low. Deporting criminal illegal aliens. Taking on the cartels directly. Standing up to terrorists. Bringing hostages back home. Working to secure peace around the globe.
The White House says the president is not concerned about possible protests by congressional Democrats. Tune into live coverage of President Trump's speech tonight beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to foxnewsradio.com and get Fox coverage on your radio station as well. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau upset about U.S. tariffs imposed today on imported Canadian goods.
Securing the border.
Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal. But Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
Trudeau announcing 25% tariffs on American imports, prompting the president to threaten to increase the tariffs further. Tariffs had Wall Street tumbling early, but the Dow is now down less than 300 points and NASDAQ more than 110 higher. Americans listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Strong gusty winds as we go through our Tuesday afternoon. Some of the wind gusts could be over 40 miles per hour, and there will be another rather fast round of showers and a couple of thunderstorms. 62 for the high. Tonight, showers, windy and 42. Wednesday, morning showers, windy and colder. 45, that's it for the high, but it feels colder. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some snow flurries around on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloor.com. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. How do you become that successful for 3 decades plus? Selling flooring, well, you do it the right way. They've been selling flooring at have 3 locations right now, and they also have the ability for you to start your shopping online. If you are looking for a flooring outlet that can give you their commitment to excellence, that is family owned and operated by local St. Louisans here, of course, at Michael's Flooring Outlet, allows you to shop at home and it provides the highest quality products, then you need to get to igotfloored.com right now, and you can begin your shopping right there at home. They show you right online that if you don't have time to stop by their showroom, they can bring samples right to your front door. You just schedule an appointment and get the whole process started. You get quality, you get value, and you get the very best customer service from the #1 name in the game, Michael's Flooring Outlet. If you're shopping for flooring in St. Louis, you got to shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloor.com.
If you're struggling with weight and frustrated with dieting each and every year, Mark Patrick Seminars can help.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about desserts like I used to.
Bridget, how much have you lost now?
I lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful.
And I would just say go for it.
Early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminar Sunday, March 16th, Aviator Hotel and Suites, South I-55 in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 p.m. Or Monday, March 17th. 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Choose Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil, formulated for today's engines, only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic or a MicroGuard Select filter for just $32.99 in-store only. Limits apply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Brian Kilmeade here, and I'll be there on Saturday, March 22nd. Jot that down at the factory in Chesterfield in this engaging motivational journey through America's past. Tickets available at 971talk.com/events.
Sponsored by Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. You guys get your taxes done yet?
Ooh, I'm close. No.
Yes.
Filed and everything?
Filed and signed and sent off. Yep.
Where are you in the process?
I've got all the papers together to drop off. I've got everything ready.
I'm I've gotten my final return. So Illinois takes forever.
You've already gotten your return, though?
All of them.
Wow, you are ahead of the curve.
Illinois, Missouri, federal.
Well, good for you.
I
Good
feel,
for you.
Good for you. Yeah. I filed. I mean, we had them filed in obviously February because February was just basically almost yesterday. Do you do your own taxes?
No. No way.
Oh, you have a lot of real estate things that factor into making it more complicated.
And I tried to do it 1 year even before the real estate, and I was like, this was not worth my time. So, no.
How long did it take you to do it? Did you get audited?
No, but it did take me days because it was one of those, it was right after Trump had passed the tax cuts where they're like, you can do this on a postcard. You know, it's that easy. So I tried doing the one.
You're like, I'm going to need a bigger postcard.
Yeah, it was like the free version of TurboTax or something like that. And it was like, hey, you can just do this for free. It's real easy. And I started to do it. Well, if you have really basic, just
one state.
That's a huge part of it.
It's a huge thing for us because we all live in Illinois and we work in Missouri.
So that alone complicates it enough that it's not worth it to me. But it was any little thing outside of the normal, and they would charge you extra.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got to do that. Well, that's $30. Oh, you got to do this. Well, that's an extra $50. And I'm like, at this point, I'm paying to do it, and I'm still doing it. Why am I doing this?
Yeah, if you're doing it yourself, you want it to be a significant cost savings.
Yes.
Do you guys do it, or you have somebody do it?
We hire somebody to do it because it's exactly what Ryan was describing. Whenever I had my own business as a lawn mowing company and all that other stuff, they start ticky-tacking and adding on and adding on and adding on. And then we started looking at it. It's like, well, it's only like a little bit more to just pay somebody to handle it. And then you don't even have to worry about it. So that's what we ended up doing.
I am in no way, shape, or form compensated for saying this. I was a full paying customer. So just clarifying here that there's no benefit to me saying this. I asked him after it was done if I could say his name on the air. And he was like, yeah, sure. But Corey Myers at Tomerlin Law in Wood River, this little downtown street in Wood River, I went to Wood River High School a few times for basketball this past season for my son. But they're kind of reviving this downtown area in Wood River. It's just on this upstart. I think that it's headed there. It's not finished yet. But there's some really cool places down there, and they have this big, beautifully white painted building right on the corner. And Tomerlin Law, and I saw Corey Myers, and I was shocked at how affordable it was, how incredibly kind Corey Myers was. And at the end, I'm like, it's just done. And if it's screwed up, I didn't do it. So
that's exactly right.
Like,
yeah, there's accountability too.
Yeah, I'm always like, you know how like you send them off and you're like, I'm finished? ? And you just kind of hope that they don't show up at your door.
Yeah, because it wouldn't come back. I mean, I guess ultimately if the IRS ever wanted to audit you, it would come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of kind of passing the buck you can do when you say, no, I didn't even do the taxes. Here, somebody else did this.
And if something comes up and it needs to be fixed, that the person who's fixing it would know.
Yeah, they'd know
the language. I'm always like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I have no idea. So I wanted to give a shout out to Corey Myers, Tomerlin Law. Not in any way, shape, or form compensated for that. I was a normal run of the mill paying customer. Hadn't gone to him personally before, and I was like, ooh, let's do this again. Not for a year, but. Yeah,
I'm glad you said that about Wood River because I've thought the same thing. The last couple of years, every time I've gone to downtown Wood River, which is not a place I have a reason to go, but so once in a great while that I drive through there, I thought, man, this actually, it has a lot of character. It needs a little bit of investment. And I think they're getting it.
Yeah,
where people are starting to turn around. And a big shout out. Last time I was there, it was to go to Atomic Pinball in downtown Wood River.
I think I might have seen that.
It's a cool place.
What is it?
It's just pinball. Actually, I guess they have a little bit of arcade too, but it's almost exclusively pinball. Multiple floors. So they have a basement and multiple rooms. It's all pinball. A lot of it they rehabbed.
In Wood River?
In Wood River. Downtown Wood River. And you pay $10 and you go, it's just all you can play for an hour.
So you're not putting quarters in or anything. You just getting in the door.
Cool.
Yep.
I got some UFO's sandals from Cleary's Shoes and Boots.
In downtown Wood River?
Yes. Same street as Tomerlin. as Tamerlan-Law, when I went to see Corey, I was a little bit early, and I messaged him. I'm like, hey, I'm here early. If you want me to come in early, just text me. So I drove all the way down the street just to see what was going on. And Cleary's was down there. I'd purchased shoes. I bought them online, and my husband picked them up. But isn't it nice to go to? Do you ever go to like a shoe store? And I'm not talking like Foot Locker, like a place that deals in high-end footwear.
Yeah, there's a place in Collinsville I think it's called Red Wing.
On Main Street.
On Main Street.
Yes. I bought my husband a pair of boots there.
My wife loves going there because she, unlike me, I just get a pair of shoes for Christmas and I'm whatever. I'm getting older now where I'm like, maybe I should start considering getting better shoes. But
Are your shoes all white?
They are right now.
All right, Dad. No, you got some gray on there.
Yeah.
You're in mid-age form.
The first time I wore these last weekend, I went immediately in the mud. Kind of on purpose.
Why?
Because new shoes that are white just look kind of dorky.
I don't understand you.
They just do.
I think that
right?
when you're talking about the Red Wing boot store, Cleary's shoes and boots in Wood River, and I know the owner there. He's a great guy, and we're not paid by any of these people. These are just experiences that I have. I'm trying to find out more locally owned and operated specialty stores that are experts at the thing that they do, and seeking those out. Shoes is definitely something that I've been willing to pay more money for to get a higher quality pair of shoes when it comes to tennis shoes or sandals. And you go into these places and this is what they do. And they care about it because it's theirs. They're not hired by some large corporate entity or whatever. But going into some of these towns that might be in the middle of a rebuild or a little bit of a revival, I love old main streets. I remember when I was growing up in Edwardsville, and Main Street in Edwardsville, I remember driving up and down that thing from time to time and just being like, gosh, this could be so cool. I used to want to buy the Wildey Theater when I was young. I was like, I'm going to buy the Wildey Theater. I'm going to fix it up, and it's going to have lights on it. It's going to be cool looking, and we're going to make it a thing. And thank God I didn't have to do it, and someone else did.
Yeah.
And now I've been at the Wildey Theater. I've been on stage at the Wildey Theater when Tyrus comes to town. Tyrus travels the country all week. And he does, of course, Gutfeld, probably 4 days a week, maybe right now. I don't know with Kat Timpf being out how if he's in all 5 days a week. But he travels the country and does shows. They're comedy shows, but it's also Tyrus, reflecting on what's going on in the news and everything. It's Tyrus. It's exactly what you'd expect when you go to see Tyrus. He did his very first show in Edwardsville, Illinois, at the Wildey with
us
partnership. I'm not going to take credit for his success, but we helped get that thing started. It was kind of an idea that generated from a conversation that we were having, and he's like, let's see what we can do here, and he made it into a thing. He's been back for multiple times, sold out shows multiple times, and now he's doing that all over the country. And that's on Main Street in Edwardsville has some amazing restaurants, great boutiques. Just it's great to see new life breathed into some of these old places.
I didn't know Tyrus still toured that much.
Oh yeah.
Huh. So he's on
all over
4
the
days
country.
a week, but he's traveling the other days?
I don't know if it's every week, but it sure seems like that. And oftentimes you'll see at the end of Gutfeld, they'll show like, oh, Tyrus is going to be in this place, and this place, based on what still needs to sell. He's been to Farmington, I think, here in Missouri, too. We didn't go to that one, but he's really turned it into a thing, and we kind of helped him jumpstart that whole process.
He was talking to you once where he said, and this was a couple months ago, he said he was going to be in Peoria, I think.
Oh, yeah?
That was not that long ago.
Or Bloomington?
It was
Something like
it was
that?
somewhere that was not quite within our reach, but not far. But the theater thing is cool because your dream of turning around a theater is everybody's dream of those theaters. Everybody sees those and goes, man, that'd be cool.
Look what that could be.
And they've done it now in Edwardsville. I mean, the Wildey's very successful.
Yeah.
Collinsville's just there.
Where are they doing it?
That's the Miners Theater, and it is big.
Where's that?
Right downtown.
Old
Old downtown Collinsville. I mean, there's no other. It's just downtown. But yeah, it's a big theater, and it is open. They're doing shows there now too. Highland is another one, Illinois. They've got a movie theater but it's that classic look.
I went to see Walk the Line at the old Highland movie theater.
Oh yeah, that dates it, right? 2008-ish.
And it was I mean, what did it have? Like maybe 10 rows of chairs.
I've never actually been in there.
Yeah, my husband and I went. It was when we were dating.
It doesn't look like it's big.
No, it's not. But it was kind of it was a fun date because it was like unique and different.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more. You know, when I think about buildings that are going up in the towns nearby where I live, it's like another building goes up and it's another bank. I feel like those main streets are where new fun shops get put in, and it's important to go shop there. It's important to support those places because I mean. That's kind of the lifeblood of the community. That's the flavor of the town that you're in. Edwardsville's done a great job at that. It's also grown massively, and that's kind of depends on who you talk to how much people really like that. But if you came to Edwardsville for the first time, chances are you're going to like it for what it is right now. If you knew what it was 20, 30 years ago, and you long for the days when it was a smaller town, well, that's past. That's over.
Don't you want that for downtown St. Louis?
So bad.
Politics aside, people are like, oh, you always talk about downtown St. Louis as being so bad. Well, it's because it's bad.
It's bad. It's really.
We want the best for it, though.
It's not even just like the threat of your safety when you're down here, like concern that you might have that you're maybe not in the most safe situation. But everything is dilapidated. The old gas station, was it a Shell gas station right here at Tucker and something?
Oh my gosh, that was just like 2 months ago.
That it closed down?
Yeah.
There's graffiti on it, and I think it says peace, love, and ranch. I go by that every day, and I'm like, well, at least it's amusing. But I mean, they put up these partitions all around it because I'm sure that they have to dig stuff out of the ground unless they're going to put a new gas station in there. But if they did, they might have to do that anyway. They put up all the partitions so that you can't see all the construction. It's all graffitied immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
How does that make you feel?
It just looks like it went from a successful business to trash in a week.
Yes.
And again, I don't know if they're building a new gas station there. It looked like it was a successful one. It's right on Tucker.
I didn't like to go there.
I didn't go there either because it was always a little sketch. But I hope that they're still it's a place with high traffic. It should be successful. And yet it could be just closed permanently.
What do you feel about all the weed shops that are popping up everywhere?
I don't get excited when I see that.
There are so many. I guess everyone that is in that industry has a dream, and that's their dream, and now's the time to jump into that business. But there are so many pot shops that are popping up everywhere. I'm not going to say which store I was in last night because they don't really deserve it. I don't know if it's their fault particularly, but I was in a big store last night shopping for some things for my kids, and it's a nice store, really nice store on the Illinois side. And I walked through like contact high, knock you over, aura of marijuana smell, just so potent. And I kept walking and it kept happening. And I'm like looking around going, where's this coming from? And I was thinking about this. It's like if you've ever been in public and you've walked through an area where somebody has clearly passed gas, you would like when if anyone's around, you'd be like, that wasn't me. Weed is the new, that wasn't me. Like you could walk
for
through
some people. Some people are like, I don't care.
I was walking and walking and walking, and it was getting stronger, but I could see no people. And I'm walking around. I'm like, they're gonna think it's me. It's not me. Do I look like somebody who would smell like this? I hope not. At that point in the day, maybe I did. But I just thought I wanted people to know, since I was the only person in that area, like that wasn't me. I didn't do that.
It's a good comparison though, because I always compare it to, is it okay socially to just walk around completely drunk and reeking of alcohol? No. It's not. But the fart thing is even better. Is it socially acceptable to just walk around crop dusting a store? No. It is not. But for some reason, there's a huge segment of the population that's just like, I'm going to get totally baked and I'm going to walk around. And I think maybe because they're baked, they don't care.
I was just going to say, I think it tracks that by the time they're doing that, they're not concerned.
Yeah, that's probably why. But you'd think the same thing would happen with alcohol, but it doesn't.
I have so many questions when I'm in a place and I experience that. And, you can't help yourself but look around and try to attach the smell to whoever that might be. But I have so many questions like, how did you get here? When did you start smelling like this? Where are you going next? Are you driving? Are you responsible for anybody? Are you going to do this more? Do you even know that we can smell you? And their answer is,
I smell it the most while driving, which means there are lots of people driving around high all the time now.
I've said this before, but my kids don't know what skunk smells like. It doesn't matter where we are or what we're doing, because in the car, to your point, you smell it. You drive past a car, and whatever they're puffing out of their vehicle gets in the ventilation system in yours, and you smell it. They just think, like, if they saw a skunk smoking marijuana, they'd be like, "Oh, that smells like weed to me." Like,
and they'd be like, "Am I high?"
You get into mom's stash again.
That skunk smoking a blunt?
Yeah, they don't understand that skunk smells like skunk and weed smells like skunk. They think skunk smell like weed.
Yeah,
you are here in the timeline. This does not seem like when we made weed legal that this is the outcome we wanted.
Well, the people who voted for it, they're probably giddy. This is probably the outcome they wanted.
Yeah, I bet they're
sure.
pretty chill about it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably real chill about it. And hungry.
How about when we come back, we gather together here on the Annie Fry Show for a State of the Show speech.
Oh, my.
That Ryan delivers.
Oh, my.
Can you do that? Can you give the people, I think, we might have some new listeners out there. They might not know where we've been, how far we've come, where we're going. And I thought, who better to tell them than you, Ryan?
You know what I love about this show is that at noon, I had no idea what the 2 o'clock hour was going to hold. And now I do.
Same. The State of the Show with Ryan Wiggins next on the Annie Fry Show.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
STS-armory.com. You can punch that into your phone right now, your desk. You're sitting at your desk at your computer at work, and you're looking to kill time. STS-armory.com will walk you through everything you need to know about Pontoon Beach's favorite armory store, Illinois. Honestly, if you're in Illinois, you need to go to STS Armory and visit these people, fine people, Katie and Jesse, who can guide you through your next purchase, maybe the acquisition of your FOID card for the first time. Oh, we love the FOID. No, we don't love the FOID card, but you have to have it. They will help you with that. Also, your conceal and carry license. I've got my conceal and carry license renewed last November. It went through. It got processed. I'm licensed once again, and I'm very thankful for the education provided by Jesse, who taught the majority of that class. And then Katie and Jesse take you out to their range, and you qualify. They walk you through the whole process, and they're wonderful at being supportive of you as you are learning, whether it's brand new beginner classes when it comes to firearms safety classes, drawing from concealment, all of it. They are there to guide you through the process. They are the experts at STS Armory. Learn more online at sts-armory.com.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head,
is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com.
There's a note on the table, said I ain't coming back till your sorry ass is gone. I'm tired of cheating.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, I'm just going to jump in here and say, let's talk about the state of the Annie Fry Show.
What song was that?
I don't know, but we shouldn't play it again. I'm sorry for that.
I'm sure you've heard the song before.
I didn't have my headphones on. I just heard what we shouldn't have done. So
sorry, but
yes,
is what he should have said in the song.
And I would like to get on with the show and talk about the state of the show, which might have changed in the last 3 minutes.
Do you want to give a little background of how we did this?
You can.
So at, we'll say 1 o'clock?
No.
12:30?
Maybe.
Annie goes, we got the State of the Union tonight, you know. It's not called the State of the Union.
No, I said joint address.
Okay, joint address. Why don't you do a state of the show?
Yeah.
And that was in the show.
Uh-huh. 2 hours ago.
So it's not the easiest thing to just do.
Yes, it is.
But since I was able to step out a couple times, I was able to write this kind of while we were doing other things and find
I think you're
music.
setting yourself up for mediocrity here.
I am. I'm just going to warn you right now. Most of this, I'm not going to tell you that it's full of substance.
I'm shocked.
But you're going to find by the end that you've been on a journey.
Hit it. I hope you've put some production quality effort into this.
State of the show. My fellow middayers, I want to first thank Annie Fry, Brad Range, and Ethan Hannaford for the invitation to give this address today. Marcus Aurelius once said, quote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Sun Tzu says, "Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust."
What does that mean?
And that's where we are, beloved ones, friends, neighbors, listeners, and friends. On the Annie Fry Show today, I stand before you large in stature, large in personality, and large in every way. I realize not everyone stands as large, and I feel bad for you. Now, the show. The Annie Fry Show has never been stronger, and yet, in some ways, needs drastic immediate attention. Tricia Siekman, manager at 97.1, said this, and I quote, "I agree."
Thanks, Trisha.
So here we are, between Iraq and Iran. Just kidding.
No, we're not.
A little political humor never hurt anyone except Alec Baldwin. We are not between Iraq and Iran. We are between Missouri and Illinois.
We're not really between them. We're in Missouri.
I think of the tale of someone I met just recently named Lucy Jenkins. Lucy came up to me, limping, and said, "Sir, what can be done to improve the Annie Fry Show?"
That's not what I asked you to do.
Part of me wanted to scream at her and throw her aside, but Lucy was old enough to be my grandmother, so I didn't do that. I shook my finger at her respectfully, then shook her hand and thanked her. In my hand, a coupon to Krispy Kreme, $2 off a dozen. In conclusion,
This is in 2 hours?
the Annie Fry Show.
Have you been sitting on this speech?
It's on middays, noon to 3, every single day, Monday through Friday. And of this, we are sure. And strong. And large. The Annie Fry Show is ranked number 6 nationally. Midday, mid-market, according to Barrett Media. You, who are listening to the state of the show, you raised $26,000 for Lutheran school scholarships only a month ago. You're a part of every event that we do. Every time we go out, we are always surprised at how many of you show up, which
shocked,
is always
really.
fun.
Why are you here?
And this, in the words of our boss, Steve Moore, quote, is St. Louis's most listened to news and information talk show in 2024, unquote. Somehow, we don't know how that happened.
Or something.
Or something. I am pleased to say,
He doesn't know we use that quote.
ladies and gentlemen, that this is the state of the show.
Just 6 more minutes of applause. Ethan in for the rebuttal.
Yeah, and now for the Democrat side.
Yeah, Ethan, take it away.
Here is Ashley Moody of Florida.
Do it like Katie Britt did it.
Yeah, do it like Katie Britt.
All you have to do is almost cry the whole time.
So, I'm pretty offended
Ooh.
by quite a few of the things
Now
that
this
you
is
said.
your I can't. This is your time. I can't comment here.
You just did.
I'm
You're
gonna step- I'm gonna
already
step off.
stepping on
Hey,
my ability to speak by even talking and using your white male
This
voice
is like Trump and Zelensky just going out of
to
here.
step on me.
He's really taking the Democrat thing to.
Now you're starting to let it out a little bit. I'm appreciating the feminine side that you're showing there.
Whatever.
Little bit offended right now by some of the things that were said. Not a fan. Not a fan. Maybe if you had...
Can you cite specifics? Because it sounds like you can't.
He didn't really actually.
He didn't listen.
Here's what I can say. It was more so about the tone in your voice. There was a cockiness of, I'm just better than you because I'm a male and I'm white.
Oh.
And I just don't appreciate it. You know, maybe I could if I wanted to cite something specific, but I don't really feel like that right now. And I am empowered to not have to do that. Ryan Wiggins.
Would this help you?
I feel like I'm getting on a Disney ride.
I do too, doesn't it?
It's great. I love it. No, that's
You
it.
know,
I
in a
think
strange
he's done.
way, it is kind of calming me. I'm not sure what it's doing to me, but the tension is just
Dissipating.
feels like it's just leaving my body right now.
As somebody who just... So I was talking about the state of the show.
I
cited some very specific things, some achievements, and you just came in and said it was all stupid. Well, you're on the show.
For context, I was told to share the liberal democratic side of it going
He's
in.
just doing what he was
So I was
told.
trying to play a part that really was fighting against the actual reasons with no reasoning.
But in
It was
that,
based
you've succeeded.
that was based all around my feelings and emotions.
I just
want
want
to say here. Is
I thought I did a pretty good
Ryan,
job.
for 2 hours time.
Yeah, well done,
Congratulations.
Ryan.
Thank you,
very
Ryan.
much. Thank you.
That could have been way worse. Almost.
There wasn't really much to it until the very end.
I liked the random quotes.
You brought it home.
Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
And Sun Tzu. That's how I would actually do a speech. Like that, I'm not capable of doing a better speech than that. That's the problem.
What were the quotes? What was that one?
Marcus Aurelius once said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live."
Is that a real Marcus Aurelius?
Is it from like
quote?
Gladiator?
And then what's the other one?
Sun Tzu says, "Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust."
Do you want to elaborate on that, or I think you've said it.
I think my point is clear.
Yeah. Well, that is the state of the show. We are not going to ask you to grade that. However, on YouTube, we will ask you to grade the State of the Union. How do you feel about where the country is right now? If you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, youtube.com/@AnnieFry, you can grade the State of the Union, A, B/C, D, or F. Before we take a break here real quick, Ryan, your thoughts on the state of the country, the state of our union?
Yeah, I am very much. We've had a lot of comments on this today.
Yeah.
And a lot of the comments are saying, I think, the same way that I'm feeling, which is that we are moving in a better direction. I think 4 years from now, we're going to realize how much has changed in America. We're going to be battle weary, but we will be stronger.
Are you still doing a speech?
Yes, I am.
How does Marcus Aurelius feel about this?
Any quotes?
How about Commodus?
I would say really in 4 years that we'll all walk away saying even the finest sword plunged into salt
Stop
water.
it. Okay. Jackie on
eventually
YouTube
rust.
says, I voted A because they have done a hell of a lot in a short amount of time. It will be bumpy, but that is to be expected during repairs. Mark says A. Just watching the Liberals freak out gives them a B+. Brad, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I like Ryan had said, I think that
I'm a B, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you are.
We're definitely trending in the right direction. We're not there yet. We got a long, long way to go. But man, for the first, 6 weeks or so, this has been a wild ride. But everything has been moving in the right direction and moving so well that anybody that would try to hinder our movement in the right direction hasn't really even been able to find
Now
footing,
he's doing it.
let alone.
It's like we have to fill time.
Yeah. Let alone actually come up with a credible assault. I mean, we talked about that
Did
with.
you say salt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, even the finest sword, when plunged into salt water, will eventually rust.
We
That's
don't
exactly
need
right.
to say that again.
But
Ethan?
it's still just as true, though.
Grade?
Is this
Did you
Ethan?
say Justin Trudeau?
I think if you
It
check the
sound like-
tape,
I
you're going
think
to
you
find that
did.
I did.
Let's speak to another American. Ethan.
Is this Ethan talking or blue-haired Ethan talking?
This is Ethan. We want
Ethan
you.
talking. I would give it a B/C. I think I would lean more towards a B between those two. On the way up, I think you said it perfectly,
Thank you
Ryan,
very much.
which you were just quoting the people, so you didn't really say anything. The people said it well. B/C. It's on the way up. Not entirely there yet. I'm very curious to see where the government spending cuts continue to go. It's been exciting, obviously, but is this going to be a short-term thing, or is this going to continue going on and on?
I'm in the B/C, but probably a B+. I think that we're a great nation, and I think that it's very hard to keep America down. They've tried very much so to do that, but after the election, man, I just feel like we are just forging ahead into the right direction. We're not there yet, but we're very close to an A. Quick break. We're going to get your thoughts on the other side of this, including the results Ethan will provide to us. Shelley said, I voted B/C. This is not a grade for Trump, but for where the country is headed, as far as cleaning up messes and giving people something to be hopeful about. If you'd like to have your comment shared here in the chat, Annie Fry YouTube, youtube.com/@AnnieFry. You can vote in the poll. It's in the live chat portion, where you can also leave us a comment. We'll be right back.
Everything you want to dream away. We are legends every day.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X @Annie Fry Show.
Feel my heart underneath my skin. I feel my heart beating.
Stewart's American Mortgage is where you go to get a bagel loan. It's the only place you can get a bagel loan. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewie's your guide When you're looking to get a mortgage on a new home purchase, I want to make sure that if you're recommended to a certain mortgage company, they're probably great people. They probably do great work, but I want you to consider a second opinion from Stewart's American Mortgage to see how he competes. $0 in closing costs. It's a very, very huge savings when you go through this process of getting a mortgage, not having to pay those closing costs. They don't get tucked into the loan. They aren't there. But you do need to call them at 314-324-4440. You can also use the Bagel loan when you refinance your mortgage. So if you're looking to take some cash out to benefit from some of that equity in your home, or if you're looking to lower your rate from when mortgage rates were at their highest highs, you can refinance with zero closing costs to you, which is a no-brainer. 314-324-4440. He can close in less than 2 weeks as well. You're just a few weeks away from a much better situation for you and for your mortgage. Google the Bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Triton Exteriors. Hopefully you've heard me talk about Triton before, and you know that I'm good friends with their owner, Tim, that I love their commitment to customer service. Tim comes from the restaurant business, and so he is completely focused on your happiness. The answer is yes. What's the question? Also, we're not just your average contractor. We're your neighbor. We're proudly based in Shrewsbury. We deliver stunning exteriors with James Hardie Siding. So why James Hardie? Why is that a big deal? Well, it's the #1 brand for durability, curb appeal, and the best-in-class return on investment. As part of the James Hardie Alliance, we bring expert craftsmanship and a personal touch to every project. Your home deserves the best, and with Triton Exteriors and James Hardie, that's exactly what you're going to get. For roofing, siding, gutters, or fences, call 314-717-1159 or go to triton-stl.com, 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. Victim of a car accident? Not choosing the best lawyer will cost you. But here's the good news. Since you don't pay unless we win, you can afford the very best. Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-500-5000.
Just a reminder, Brian Kilmeade is coming to town this month. It is March 22nd, Saturday night. It is at the Factory, and we're all going to be there. If you would like to be there too, go to 971talk.com/events. You can get regular tickets there, or you can get VIP tickets there, or if you already have tickets, you can upgrade to VIP. Whatever you want to do, it's all there. 971talk.com/events. March 22nd, Brian Kilmeade. 245, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon. Getting ready here for a Tuesday edition of the show, and it's Election Day in St. Louis. We're going to talk about that. We'll get a preview as Tish on her way out. Big speech by the president tonight. Joint session of Congress will air it live here on 97.1 FM Talk, and we'll get a preview from Congressman Bob Onder coming up at 3:25.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Now, if you missed it, you just got the state of the show, and that was something that Ryan put a ton of work and effort in for the last 2 hours after I asked him to do it. And I think you did. I think you nailed it. I think that I can give you more assignments in the noon hour, and we can have them in the 2 o'clock hour.
It wasn't really my goal. Hate to hear that.
You need to fail forward, bud. I think it was good. I appreciate you doing that. Most of it. At least the parts that I understood.
Yeah, the parts at the end that were real.
Yeah, that's good. You said you had a story?
Yeah. This is a bizarre thing to happen. But I thought, gosh, what a ridiculous thing that I'm on the radio. I get to tell this story. Okay.
I'm real nervous.
So I'm leaving a store on, I think, Sunday. And I decided instead of leaving out this exit, I'm going to try to go through the parking lot because it's going to be faster to go through the parking lot than to go this way. So whatever. So I'm driving through the parking lot at a Home Depot, and I'm going just a little bit faster than you would if you were looking for a parking spot. Not much, but just a little bit because I was just kind of cutting through it. And a lady, I assumed it was a lady, I couldn't quite see the driver, pulls out.
Why? Is it because of how they were driving?
Maybe. Pulls out, backs out of her spot so fast.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not really going that fast that I almost hit her. I had to slam on my brakes, and it's one of those where everything in your car that's on a seat flies forward and is now on the floor. And the problem was not that she was backing out, but it was that as she was backing out, she was going to turn. And I was so close to her that she would have backed into me. And so she was backing out of the spot way too fast and not looking at all. And so I had to honk. And there's no way when you honk to tell somebody, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm trying to make you aware. You honk and it's just.
Should we have different kind of signals for a honk?
I almost feel like
here's a honk that's like, oh, hey.
Yeah, with your left
Ryan,
hand, it's
how
like,
are you?
beep. And the other one's like, Rrr.
It's like Morse code, yeah.
Yeah.
And one's like,
but there's not. It's all the same honk.
bless your heart.
Or the New Jersey version.
Yeah.
So I had to honk just to make her aware. I assume it was her. All I could see is the passenger, and the passenger was a very old lady. And from what I could see, I thought the driver was an older lady too, but I couldn't quite see. So no big deal. This person driving that I figured was a woman started to pull back in, but it took the person a minute because she really had no idea I was there. So, okay, she gets back in the spot. So I start driving, no big deal, whatever. So I'm driving up out of this parking lot, and I look in my rearview mirror and I'm like, oh no, I hope this person is just right behind me waiting at a stoplight now. Because I wasn't trying to make them mad, but I think it is them. They had kind of a recognizable license plate and I could see in my rearview, I think that's that person. So I'm going up into my neighborhood and the person follows me. And I'm like, well, they could also live up here. Have no idea. So I make a turn onto the main road, and I'm thinking, it would probably, if they're coming up here in general, they're probably likely to be on this same road. So what I'll do is I'll turn off onto a side road, and if they follow me then I'll know, oh, we're getting a little, maybe they're actually following me. So I get to this spot in the neighborhood, and I turn off to the right. The person behind me turns off to the right. So I'm like, okay.
It was me, guys.
Are they really following me? Because it still could just be in the neighborhood, right? So then I get to another stop, and it's either straight or left. And I'm like, well, 50-50 here. I'll just go left. They follow me left. I'm like, okay. Still could be just that they're going to their house, and I happen to be going that direction.
They're
so
like, he's following us to his house.
Yeah, how would I? So I go forward a little bit more. There's a couple of side streets that I passed that I was like, I guess I could go on one of these, but then what if they go down them? So I keep going. I get to another stop. And at this one, I can go left, straight, or right. And I'm like, I think I'm going to go right because if I go straight or left, then it's clear that I don't want to go to my house because if they are following me.
Yeah, that's the number one thing you don't do.
I don't want to go to.
Don't
and
bring
I live
the crazy
on a,
home.
Right. I live on a street where, even if you didn't follow me onto my street, it's not a long street, so you would know kind of where I live, but you could follow me too. So I'm not going to do that. And that was, if I went left, that would be toward my house. So I'm like, well, either straight or right. Straight makes the most sense because there's a lot more neighborhood in the straight. But if I go right, then I'll know a little bit better if they're following me because there's very few houses over here. So I go right. Follows me.
This story would be awesome if they just went a different way. And
Isn't that great? And then we went our separate ways and nothing happened. So now I'm at the final turn where if I go left, I can go kind of back into the neighborhood, or I can go right and go down a cul-de-sac. And there's not that many houses down this cul-de-sac. So I'm like, now I'm getting kind of heated because I'm like, first of all, I didn't do anything to you. And if you're following me and you're mad at me, I'm getting mad. Second, if you are following me, and again, I don't know who that driver is because I couldn't tell who it was, what's this going to be? So I go right down the cul-de-sac. They turn right. Follow me down the cul-de-sac. At the very end of this thing, I'm like, all right, here we go.
We're out of time, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Tomorrow at noon, I will finish the story.
No, I don't know if you would.
So I get to the end of the cul-de-sac. There's 2 houses at the end of this thing. One of them has a family playing basketball. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, I'm not going to try to turn around in that driveway. So I'm turning around, and I kind of had to go into this other driveway to kind of get around. But immediately when I turn around, I'm like, I'm rolling my window down, and I'm going to ask them very sternly, can I help you? Because I did nothing wrong to this person if they're mad at me. So I turn around, and I roll my window down, and I glare at this old lady who pulls into her driveway at the end of that cul-de-sac that I had just halfway pulled into. And she is trying not to make eye contact with me at all. She thinks that I have somehow found her house and am pulling into her driveway.
How do you know she
I
lived
had
there?
no clue. Because she was with another old lady, and they pulled in the driveway, and I watched them open the garage door.
You saw the garage door open?
Yes.
So you know for sure. Yes. So you, by happenstance, found her
all
home.
these turns, all these random turns, and I end up basically at the woman's house.
God, your life is made for radio.
Right?
It's so not fair.
And I was ready for a brawl. I'm like, what's going to happen here, you know?
With the 2 old ladies?
He's like,
Well,
all
I
right,
didn't
Grandma,
know.
here
Quick
we
Rick
go.
says senior abuse.
I didn't know if it was an old lady. I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. I couldn't see.
What were you? How are you going to start that brawl?
I was just going to start yelling, like just pointing at my chest. It's like, yeah. You see these?
Start quoting Marcus Aurelius.
See
I
these
know
pecs?
things.
You see these pecs?
They're built of muscle.
I'm a man.
Gummy bears.
What are you
About
going to
to
do if
plunge
these
this
people
sword.
listen to the Annie Fry show? And
What's that?
What do
Say
you?
again?
I mean, there is no way this story happened to anybody else. What if these 2 lovely women are listening to the Annie Fry show right now?
Doris and what's the other one named to be named? I can't
I
think
know
of
you
it.
should have come up with one
I'm
faster.
struggling. I'm struggling. Betty. Doris and Betty.
Doris and Betty, I would just tell them, I feel so bad that I probably scared you to death. Because I was not intending to.
They're at Card Club right now telling the exact same story.
I hope so. I hope they are. And I kind of feel bad. I didn't do anything, obviously. I didn't do anything wrong. But the whole time I'm like, man, this is getting pretty intense. What's going to happen here? I was actually glad to see the family at the end of the road because I thought, if there's going to be some sort of fight.
Were you actually gearing up for a
I was
brawl?
actually I'm like, what is this person? You can send a message if you're really mad at somebody, you follow them a little bit.
Right.
You send a message. You don't then go down a cul-de-sac with them. You know, you're getting ready to do something to them if you're following down a dead end.
You follow them if you're wanting to send a message.
I could see that happening. Yeah, if you're really mad at somebody, you like somebody cuts you off, you follow them real close.
No.
I could see it. But
Jackie says they'd be granny fannies.
well, if that's the case, just know that I think that you ladies are great. I think you should watch where you're pulling out in the Home Depot parking lot. But aside from that, you guys are fine.
That's kind of rude.
They did mess up.
You just want to make sure that the takeaway is that they should have done better.
They should have done a little bit better.
I think that
on
they
the front
said
end
that
of
you
this
were
thing.
speeding through the parking lot
No, I knew that was going to come up.
irresponsibly.
I was not. I was just barely above an idle.
This young man had to be 15, 16 years old driving through the Home Depot parking lot like a bat out of hell. Almost hit the back of my car.
Giant pecs screaming at us, following us all the way to our house
Ooh,
somehow
I don't-
in the front.
I don't think
Freaking
that's
teenager.
what they're saying. I don't know. If
It might
that's
be.
Joint address to Congress tonight, 8 o'clock our time. We're covering it here on 97.1. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, we are. Full thing starting at 8 all the way till 11. Full coverage.
With Fox News coverage,
Mhm.
as we are St. Louis's Fox News radio affiliate here in St. Louis, and very happy to be. We asked you today on the Annie Fry YouTube channel to grade the State of the Union. How do you feel about the country right now? Ethan, you want to hit us up with some results?
243 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll, which, as you mentioned, asks to grade the State of the Union. We'll start from last to first. 5% give it an F. 9% give it a D, so that means the rest of it going into the upper half, I should say. B/C gets 58%, and A gets 28%. So, the large majority, a fan of what Trump is doing so far.
Thank you so much for listening today. That joint address to Congress, I might be on YouTube tonight. There's a science fair project due this week, and Ryan's got things to do, so we're not going to be all together tonight, but I might jump on and broadcast live. We'll wait and see how the time goes. Overtime on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, right here, right now. Mark Reardon on 97.1 next.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and worried about market volatility and losses at this stage in your life? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you are 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you are 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero-Res, and I want you to beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero-Res. If you missed out on earlier specials, this is the time to get your home freshly cleaned, the carpets, the floors, maybe even the upholstery. Zero-Res removes winter's lingering grime, preparing your home for hopefully brighter days ahead. And spring, let's face it, is a time for renewal. So let Zero-Res help you refresh your home with clean carpets, fresh floors, and improved air quality. For that, you want to do the ductwork. And here's the offer for the month of March. 3-room Zero-Resified from St. Louis's #1 carpet cleaner, starting at $119. Also, take $75 off your air duct cleaning package. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy air. So book right now at 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com and say you want the 97.1 FM Talk special. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero-Res. Book today at ZeroResSTL.com. Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're going to waste absolutely zero time in getting to our next guest here. Senator Eric Schmidt, your senator and my adopted senator, back with us here on the Annie Fry Show. Thank you so much for the time today. It's a pleasure to have you back.
Sure thing. I'm glad. Listen, I'm so glad that you are a Missouri +1. You're like the +1 from Missouri.
Man, Illinois is flirting with that no state income tax thing, and I'm like doing that side eye, that look over my shoulder meme, that everybody sees. We got to ask you about the situation that took place between Zelensky and Trump in the Oval Office on Friday. I'm not even going to preface it with any sort of specific question. What happened?
Well, I posted about this on X. I was pretty animated about this because I just think it was a total disaster on Zelensky's part. He had been difficult. Look, President Trump ran on ending this war. I mean, you look at some of the polling that's out. The American people do not want to get involved in this sort of entanglement. The American taxpayer is sort of tapped out here. So President Trump wants to bring peace. This is not something Biden wanted to do or was capable of doing. The only person in the world who can do this is President Trump. And so I actually went over to Munich a couple of weeks ago. I did not meet with Zelensky, but my message to our European allies was, it's time for you guys to pay up. We are tired of subsidizing your liberal social welfare governments for generations now. You need to start providing for your own defense. And interestingly, they sort of got it. Now, I don't know how they're going to get there, but they need to reinvigorate their industrial base. And we need to do some of that too. But the point is the partnership or the alliance is totally out of balance right now. So that was my message there. But as that was happening, this minerals deal conversation sort of came up.
Hey, farmers on the grow. Elevate your planting game with the Meridian Seed Tender and help your planting season go faster and easier. Get the advantage during spring planting with the convenience of a Meridian seed
and had been moving forward now for a few weeks. And he had been difficult. And he's the one that wanted to come to the White House. He's the one that wanted to be there. And when he got there, he just showed a lot of ingratitude. He wanted to relitigate everything over and over. All the guy had to do literally was put a suit on or whatever, whatever you're wearing, sit there, smile, say thank you, have lunch, and sign the agreement. That's it. But he decided to hot dog it in there, and it was embarrassing for him. He was escorted out. He should have been. That is a pretty low bar, Annie, in that kind of an Oval Office room like that. It's just for the cameras. Yeah. You don't need to get into an argument with the president and the vice president. So he blew it. He missed the gimme putt, and I don't know where this goes now. I don't know that we can trust to work with him as a business partner in that sense anymore. So we'll see what happens, but it was a total debacle. President Trump is committed to bringing peace. We are not going to continue to fund an endless war with a blank check. So the time to come to the table is now. Trump's the only guy who can pull it off.
We're speaking with Senator Eric Schmidt. When Zelensky came in there and had that type of attitude, I just played a clip from an NBC report, I should say, in 2022, where it reported on Biden getting miffed at Zelensky for not being grateful on that phone call. And NBC, of course, reported on it like, oh, look at Joe Biden advocating for the American people. He wants to see some gratitude. Do you think that Zelensky came in with that attitude because he thought he was going to publicly win this argument with Donald Trump and still get what he wants? Or is what happened what Zelensky wanted?
Well, maybe. I mean, every room he walks into with a lot of these globalist types, he gets a standing ovation. And look, the Ukrainian people and him, to a large degree, have shown great courage, right? I'm not taking anything away from that, but there's no path. Like part of the problem, there's no path to victory. No one can tell you what victory even looks like, right? And the old adage of that they've been using is someday it'll be your boys or just give us another year and Russia will be on its knees. No one wants to hear that anymore. It is a stalemate. It's a meat grinder. It's a meat grinder. Hundreds of thousands of people have died. It's time for this thing to end. And I just think there's just sort of this misplaced Trump derangement syndrome happening that the Democrats and so many on the left, they hate Trump so much that it clouds their view of like a president that wants to bring peace. Like if this was a Democrat, Annie, they'd be already talking about him on his way to a Nobel Peace Prize. So it's just strange. I don't really completely understand it. But now the Democrats are the party of forever wars and censorship. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of who they are. So it's weird.
It is super weird. It's weird to consume from here, being so far away from it. And your perspective, Senator Schmidt, on it is really, really valuable. One of the things that has been underreported in my mind, and maybe I'm thinking too much about it, is one of the things Zelensky said is that to Trump and Vance and the whole, Rubio's in there, this whole room full of people who are here to try to help bring peace to Ukraine. What you hear from Zelensky, he says, you don't know because you have the benefit of an ocean, but you will know. What did that mean?
Well, I think that's one of the things that Trump took particular offense to. Was that a threat? Was that? But the reality is, again, he's relitigating for the cameras stuff that it kind of is what it is. I mean, we're at where we're at with this thing, and there needs to be diplomacy. Right? There needs to be the time. What the Biden folks and kind of I would say the Wilsonian establishment, and I'll explain what that means in just a second, they've had their run at this, and they've totally failed. Our post-Cold War foreign policy has been aimless, and then you see with the USAID scandal, all the stuff we're funding like DEI around the world has become totally corrupt. So what President Trump is doing, and J.D. Vance, I would include myself in this category, and I posted about this too to try to give more color to this from a 30,000-foot view. We can't be everywhere all at once all the time. We're not the global cops. This American realism is this idea that we are interested in core national interests of the United States of America. And what those are protecting the homeland and understanding that the 21st century is going to be defined by who wins this great powers competition between the United States of America and communist China. That is how history will judge this entire century. So in order for us to effectively do that, our European allies have to step up in a much more meaningful way. For example, if they contributed the same amount we do to defense, it would free up about $300 billion a year for us to go take care of the things that we need to take care of to keep our people safe. They refuse to do it. So President Trump's putting pressure on them to step up in a much more meaningful way. We'll see if they do it. The problem is, even if they wanted to, this deindustrialization that's happened in Europe and most recently in Germany doesn't even allow them, if they pump more money into it, to make the munitions necessary for this stuff. And we don't have the industrial base to be everywhere all at once all the time either, because you are making choices in a world of scarcity between building tanks for a land war in Europe or long-range fires in the Indo-Pacific. That's the truth. So the people need to just stop lying to everybody and pretend that we can be everywhere and we can do everything. We have to make decisions based on priorities that are American priorities. And so that's what President Trump's doing. And that's why these people are losing their, that's why they're losing their minds.
Yeah.
Because it's such a disruption to what people have been used to in this global order. And so that's what I support, is getting back to this place where we're standing up for America. And it doesn't mean we're not going to have allies. Of course we're going to have allies. But they need to do their fair share too.
Last question before we let you go. You can answer this as quickly as you like. Is there a possibility still that situations change and we are still able to complete that minerals deal? Or is that not in our interest?
Yes. I mean, I just think Zelensky needs to stop talking like a tough guy and get back to that. I don't know. I don't know that he can do it. I really don't know if he's in the position to do it. But if Ukraine has any chance of ending this war, they're going to have to sign the minerals deal, because guess what? We should get our money back. And then we get Russia to the table, and then you negotiate this thing. And I don't even know if that'll happen for sure, Annie, but I know it's not going to happen unless, whoever's leading Ukraine comes back to the table and signs that deal.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if Zelensky has any interest at all or benefit in not achieving peace, but I guess we'll have
It
to
certainly looked, you could, an alternative theory is maybe that's actually, they don't want peace. Maybe they just want to keep going on. And I think that if that's the decision, I don't think that's going to be a good outcome for them.
Yep. And then there's no American interest in that because we're trying to achieve peace. And Donald Trump has been a great advocate for it. Senator Eric Schmidt, thank you for being with us here today. We always appreciate your time.
All right, Amy, take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. You as well. Bye-bye. Gosh, I could talk to him for a long time.
So my lymph problem finally went away, and what I did was ridiculous. My urologist told me to throw all my blue pills away and just do this simple blood flow